Once again, it's on.
Hello, Sandis.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good to meet. Good to meet you too. What do you think about the prompt? The prompt, I should say.
It's really good. It's really thought-provoking and original, actually, because I do tend to see like a lot of lives like repeating the same topics, and this is good because it makes you think of like dystopia and yeah, like why movies have these like themes.
Yeah,
I really like sci-fi movies and dystopian movies and like yeah.
yeah. I mean, I love sci-fi movies too. So, what do you think? Is there more validity to Back to the Future or the Bible? Like, what are you thinking on the topic?
I mean, the Bible it is really like, it seems to be very metaphorical, in my opinion, and it's either metaphorical or fabricated deliberately. I can't say for sure what the motive was, but it's not the most um, literal or like conductive or it's not really a reflection of society or the world. I mean, and that yeah, because of the way that it kind of, even though it has like supernatural like stories, and it's just that like it seems like the conclusion of those stories are this means that you should do this. It's not, and it's seen as literal
Yeah,
by Christians, of course, and obviously other people might see it as metaphorical. Like, what do you think?
yeah. No, I mean, in my lifetime, um, I've seen more of the Terminator than I have Jesus. So, I mean, that's just like another one of my questions. It's like, would we see Terminator before we see Jesus? And I could argue that we have Terminator in our life right now. We have driverless cars, we have flying cars, we have AI that can print you a Picasso in 3 seconds. So, for my money, the sci-fi movie is more in my zeitgeist, more in my now than any Jesus has ever been. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but that's just what I've seen in my lifetime. You know, let me let Sarah in the conversation. Sarah, you there? Good to see you, Sarah. Good day.
Hey, good to see ya. 2 days in a row,
Yeah,
yay.
2 days in
Um,
a row.
I think it depends on our lens that we wear. To some, the
Yeah,
Bible is relevant every single day, and to others, sci-fi is, because all of the things that they used to talk about we're now beginning to have. So it's always going to be from the perspective of the person viewing it. You could have 100 people in the room, and they're not all going to have the same answer because it's really a viewpoint of from the person observing it, right? So if I'm a religious person, well, the Bible's going to be more relevant. But if I'm more science oriented, then the sci-fi movies are going to be more relevant. So I think it just begs to pull on where your area of interest is.
yeah. I can respect that. What I would ask you is, whether you're religious or not, has anything from the Bible come true?
Well, it depends on how we look at it, right? We could look at the Bible as a story. If we take all of the dogma out of it, it is the repeating cycle of life. Every single thing that happens in it has happened before, and it's going to happen again. And it's kind of like a book of morals, what we should and shouldn't do, punishment, consequence, and reason. So if we look at it from that perspective, then every single day, everything in the Bible is relevant to a degree in which you choose to take it into your life.
Okay, yeah. No, listen, I dig that. Let me just pull something out of the Bible really quick, right? Like, so I don't have a Bible in front of me, but I was raised in a Christian home, and so I know tons of the allegories and or Bible verses, etc. But one of the stories in the Bible, as we all know, is that the character Jesus was born of a Virgin Mary. Now, I know that there's a concept called parthenogenesis, right? I understand that, where that concept is that women can have babies without men. But in my 55 years, I've never seen it done. So when I put that next to the idea that I can argue that we have Terminator right now, that's one way where I kind of feel like the sci-fi is more literal than the Bible. What do you think about that?
Well, maybe if we go by using the term literal, yes, but it isn't. I don't think the Bible was ever meant to be taken 100% literally. It is
Ah,
a moral structure on how to live your life, and over time how it changes, and over time how different thought processes and theories change to determine how society grows along the way. So when you strip that religion out of it and you look at it as a moral structure, it becomes a little bit more clear. Now we can all say, "Oh yeah, Jesus was born of a virgin." Well, we all know that that's not how things worked. Certainly not back then. But did they make a bad situation a little less bad by proclaiming something like that? Maybe. I don't know the reasons behind it, right? But the reason behind it is this person was special and he had a certain type of value system that they wanted to project going forward. So that's the lesson that we take from that book. I'm atheist. Have I read the Bible? Yeah, I've read lots of texts. I am also spiritual. So do I believe in other beings, other entities? Yeah. And for a living, believe it or not, I own an estate sale business and a shop. And I also work in a crystal and metaphysical shop where I do Reiki and quantum healing, as well as tarot readings. So I'm pretty broad spectrum and open.
so I love it. So you're Guinan from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I
I'm geeking.
suppose.
I'm really down in the geek rabbit hole right now. I don't know if everyone knows who Guinan is. That was played by Whoopi Goldberg back in the '80s. But let me let Straight Talk in. Straight Talk, you there?
Oh yeah, yeah, man. What's going on?
How's it going, bro?
Another day in the neighborhood, bro.
Another day in the neighborhood. Emphasis on
Yes,
hood. Yo, listen. So sci-fi versus the Bible. Which one is more literal to you?
man. What's more literal right now, and has been for the past 30 years, man. We're seeing things like the Minority Report coming to pass. I'm gonna tell you
Uh
something.
oh.
Let me tell you a real time thing, right? Because I'm not into the Fugazi stuff, right? We're
Yeah.
about to see Skynet. Skynet
Huh.
is here. The
Yeah.
machine
Yeah.
from the show Person of Interest. You remember the show Persons of Interest?
I don't know that
With
I've
the
seen
guy
that.
that, oh man, the machine, the guy that played in the Passion of the Christ, he
Well, I
plays
know what
this.
Skynet is. If it's anything close to Skynet, I know what Skynet is.
Well, Person of Interest was a TV series with the guy that played Passion of Christ. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
What's the chick from Baby Boy? That played opposite of
Taraji.
Tyrese. She plays a detective, right? And it's
Oh,
about
that's
this
my good friend.
it's about this supercomputer, right? At the end of the
Okay.
day, that can detect behaviors, right, and all this stuff, and it actually can tell when crime is about to take place, right?
It's called Person of Interest.
Persons of Interest, yes, it was a
I gotta
phenomenal
check this
TV
out.
series. Check it out. Well, we're seeing right now the making in Abilene, Texas, is the actual battery called Stargate. Look this
Ah,
up. Stargate right now, $500 billion investment. Two American corporations, one Japanese corporation, and United Arab Emirates Corporation are all investing into this Stargate. I think Donald Trump talked about it in January. And Stargate is going to be the actual battery pack for the supercomputer called Artificial General Intelligence.
interesting.
And artificial AGI is going to govern every other AI. It's going to be the thing that's going to allow individuals to cure cancer, shift education, lower poverty. And then here's the kicker. Neuralink and AGI is going to connect. The possibilities of
Yeah.
Neuralink connecting with this supercomputer, which is now already in play, like I said, in Abilene, Texas, right now as we speak. So when we talk about sci-fi, we're talking about things we saw in movies. I'm
Yeah.
like, hold up, that's Skynet. That's the machine. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
being able to detect, they said this AGI will be able to detect human behavior.
Hmm.
But the funny thing about it, they got a Porsche. They got my sister who lived in China for a while. She said they got something like that in China. So yeah, I'm not seeing the Bible. What I am seeing is I'm seeing a lot of our sci-fi, Star Wars, all the stuff that we see in the movies 30 years in real time right here in our face.
I have
Well,
a
I want to
question for
say
you.
this to
Are you
you, Straight
for or
Talk.
against it? Sorry, I
Say
didn't
it
mean to
again.
interrupt you. Are you
No, no,
for or
no.
against
Go,
it?
go ahead.
I'm not for. What made you say? Where did that come from?
Are you for or against this type of technology being utilized in everyday society?
I mean, I don't really care too much about it. I just use it.
So you have no preference. I'm just wondering what the overall cost of that is. What's the overall cost to society of using this type of technology?
Advancement.
Yeah, but
It's not. It's not new technology.
that's an attribute. But what's the deficit?
Let me say this to you, Sarah. To colonizers and Europeans, is new, but to those of us who understand ancient civilizations like Kemet and Sumeria, this is not new technology. It's just being
I
put
do
out right
understand
now.
I do understand
Okay.
those
Yeah.
civilizations, but I'm
Gotcha.
asking you, what is the cost of doing that? There's always going to be a benefit,
We
right?
already
But there's
see the
also a
cost.
cost.
What you mean cost? Like
It's
pros and
only a
cons?
it's only a
Yes.
cost for the person that wants to recreate the
Hey,
technology that's already existing.
it's not even that. At the end of the day, you know, you're already seeing how it's benefiting humanity. So I mean, if you got a doom and gloom outlet, that's just subjective.
Well, Straight Talk. Let me play devil's advocate. That's you're talking witchcraft, man. Like Jesus is coming back soon, bro.
It's
Who?
not
Not only
witchcraft.
witchcraft,
Hold on. Who's talking witchcraft? Not me.
It's technology.
Well, you know,
yeah.
I'm using devil's advocate, straight. You
You
know,
Oh,
so
understand? I didn't allude to anything about witchcraft. She said, "How's it going to
You're
benefit?" And I'm like,
predicting people's behavior. Is that not a form of witchcraft? That's why witches were
no,
burned at the
that's not.
stake.
That's a
Not a
form of
form of. That's
familiarity.
not. You can predict somebody's behavior because humans are creatures of habit. You don't need a computer to know that. All I got to do is watch you. When I was in the military, one of my friends was a sniper. And if you know anything about snipers, they watch you all day, every day until they calculate. So, as a military vet myself, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, you don't have to be a computer to recognize that people are creatures of habit and to study you and to know what you're going to do. And then I can predict what I need to do with you. You don't need a computer for that.
pattern
There's
recognition.
are those predictions ever incorrect?
Are those incorrect? I mean, minimal, depending on the person that's observing you.
Minimal. But
The
what if
technology
you
that she speak of sound like it's almost illegal or being a stalker to try to observe somebody. This sounds kind of stalkerish.
It
What
To
you
is
being?
stalker
let
if
me
you're
let me let
invading their
everyone in the
privacy
let me let
like this.
everyone in the
Yeah.
room really quick, guys. Let me introduce everyone really quick.
Yeah.
Uncle Jay, are you there? Uncle Jay? Uncle Jay, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. How's it going, man? Can you hear me? Okay, let's. Jay, can you hear me? I think you have
I am
like a
here. Can you
low
hear me?
reception. I can hear you now. Yeah,
Yo, can you hear me? Hello.
yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. It might be bad reception. Then it might just be delayed. I will go ahead and say I was going to say that if anybody's ever heard of predictive programming, that's something that they feed into the brain for 50, 60 years, right? That's like it's propaganda. So predictive programming could have also been this AI situation, and that we have been fed sci-fi movies for the last 60 years to lead us to this point. And so if that's the case, then that is an argument for the idea of Christianity and God being the one true God, blah 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 blah. And I'm not here because I'm not a Christian. I have faith, but I'm not a Christian.
Can I say something on your point?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to mention the predictive programming and the sci-fi programming. I mean, we're programmed by the movies, by Disney, by all of that. So just wanted to throw that
Don't
out
forget
there.
neural linguistics.
So 1978. Let me let you in. I just want to go around the room. I'll come right to you. Doctor, are you there, Doctor?
Yes, how are you?
I'm well, man. What do you think about the question?
Is it prediction or is it just limited options? If I gave you a banana and if I gave you an apple, I told two people to choose what you was going to choose. would that person be predicting, or would they just be making the right guess on the options you have? America don't give you that many options. They give you a bunch of options to make you think you're doing different things, but collectively, as long as they get a tax, which is the money from each of those things that you think you're doing differently, they still win.
Okay. Let me ask you, what do you think about the question on the screen?
It's not prediction. It's literally just based on satisfaction. What is that person's preference?
No, I mean, the question is, are sci-fi movies more literal than the Bible? What do you think about that?
Oh shoot. Yeah, I believe that they take some parts from.
Okay, cool. Lynette, I'm coming to you, 1978, but Lynette, are you there?
Yes,
Lynette, are you there? How are you?
I'm here, but listen, I'm having a little bit of a problem. I'm hearing a big echo. So I would
I
like
think
to
the echo just
jump
left the room.
down. No, I'm still hearing it. But I do need to jump down and then come back up. I just wanted to let you know, if you don't mind.
Okay, that works. No, that works. That works.
All right, thank you so much.
All right. 1978. It was a good year. I was 8 years old. Michael Jackson was just about to release
It was a great
Off the
year
Wall,
before.
which is one of my great favorite albums. So how are you, 1978?
I'm awesome.
Good. Good to know. What do you think about the question?
Well, I don't think they're movies. Actually, if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty, I think that these people are actually experiencing it, which makes it almost horrendous. And it's like each movie is its own universe.
Oh, wait, go deeper about that. Go deeper into that. What do you mean?
I think each movie is its own reality. There are different versions of us all existing on different timelines happening all at one time. Time isn't linear, it's quantum. So what if you, in your sleep, go to a quantum realm in which, the Avengers are there? You're literally in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, that's what it is.
No. I'm about to open up this bag and smoke a little bit of it. So you're saying that movies?
That's my personal belief. Yeah.
I get it. I just want to go into your belief system for a second.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think that movies are actual realities?
It's a possibility, but listen, the things I've experienced, yes. If I can speak to someone who's pre-recorded something like 4 years ago, I'm talking to them like having a conversation, and it looks like you're insane, but they're quantum. It's through the quantum realm. They're actually channeling me in that moment.
No,
So
I got
someone
it.
can
I got it.
pre-record something, and I can literally go on like YouTube or something and watch something, and just it's like I'm talking to myself, commentary on what I'm watching. And these people,
1978. I have a
answer me
question
back.
for you.
It's pretty
I have a
awesome.
question for you, 1978. This
Go
is
for
something
it.
that we spoke about on this panel about a week or so ago. Can you prove yesterday?
Yesterday, no. Can I prove that tomorrow? Can I prove that this has been more than one day? No.
Yeah. Can you prove yesterday? Yeah. Are you able to prove yesterday?
No, because the way that we actually quantify time is memory. That's how we go backwards and forwards in time and go to other places. So, but technically, because we are not outside of time, that's how we measure time.
No, you made me think about the question again, because you were talking about how you look at videos that were quote unquote recorded years ago, but of course you're looking at that video now. Everything is happening now.
But if you're a channeler and this person is awake, because they're on a higher timeline than you got to think about that too. They're awakened. It's a version of you who's more awake. Because so we're all connected. They're literally channeling you during the video that was taken 4 years ago, because time doesn't exist. But you're
talking about parallel
later.
realities, and parallel existence and timelines. Yeah.
I've experienced some weird stuff has happened to me, And like, I'm like, I finally figured out what was going on, dude. I'm jumping timelines. Like, I'm experiencing quantum realities and shifts. That's why people in
Okay.
your reality will get weird and their personalities will completely change because
Yeah,
they're
I
really not the
know a
same
little bit
there's
about
people.
that.
They're not the
there's
same
something
people.
going on like that.
So don't get angry with them because they're literally not the version that you really know.
Oh, that's
Like, and
interesting. Hey, listen, I'm going through a bit of that right now myself. Let my good friend Adept into the conversation. What's up, A? You there?
Adept, what's up? It's you again.
What's good, brother? Yes,
What's
it's
happening,
me,
man?
the one and only. You know,
Yeah. So, what do you think about this, man? Are sci-fi movies more literal than the Bible? What do you think?
I mean, I kind of like. Was it Uncle? He was the one that said the whole like predictive programming, correct?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that
so
was me.
that's something that I've. Oh, excuse the background noise. Um, that's something that I've come to kind of intuit or discover myself, even when it comes to the scripture, because what I do know and understand about the deeper aspects of the Bible, of scripture, and with all my, you know how I am with the esoteric and things that I understand what the Bible is kind of actually conveying underneath that's not taught in the churches or stuff. Um,
Like, yeah,
so
the
I've
real
seen that
meaning.
the Bible has been used as a tool, as a form of predictive programming, specifically because people are like,
Oh,
oh, look, all these events are happening. It's happening just like the Bible said. Well, yeah, I mean, the book's been around for so
Well,
long,
we're
and the
manifesting it also.
people at the top are using it as a form to like bring these events about to make people think that like
Right.
it's actually happening as
interesting.
foretold.
Right.
They're like, no, we have the means and the resources and availability to put some plans into action since we're at the top.
What if I said that we're in a
So
time locked loop?
it's like a form of manipulation, and this creates more. It's religious manipulation. It's playing 4D chess while the masses are playing shoots and ladders, like a whole different game in and of itself. And so movies, I would say, it's all the same kind of tactic, essentially. And then disclosures, and it's predictive programming, disclosures, and again, it's getting people more open and susceptible to new changes, to be uh, more familiar and comfortable with the idea. Because if we've never seen Terminator or any sci-fi movie at all, like at all, and
And
all
then
of
you
a
might
sudden we
wake up
see
in one. That would be scary.
we just see robots on the streets out of nowhere,
Yeah.
without any
Yeah.
kind of slowly weaning us into that kind of
Yeah.
reality. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be we would go mad.
Mayhem.
I see
I went
Mayhem.
to
things
my
like that as
doctor,
well.
and there were books like in the bookshelf where they keep the magazines, and it was about the robots that they had created, and it explained each robot, and it was like these robots. They go into like disaster areas and look for people who are alive still. Like, I mean, they went into depth like these things had already been created, and then they disappeared the next time I went to the doctor. So I was in a reality in
Interesting.
which that
Let me let
actually
let me let
happened.
Mind War into the conversation really quick. Mind War, you there?
Yeah, hi everybody. Hey Sundus, how you doing? So yeah, I've been listening. Everybody's nailing it dead on with the predictive programming and the using the Bible as a playbook, putting them into religion overload. I've been studying this with advanced psychologists all over the world. I'm a professor of advanced psychology, and I was trained in psychological warfare, right? So, art of war, always study your enemy. We've been studying the evil think tank and what they're doing to us. You can find this information on my page. This is all going to be fact, what I say. What they've done is they've figured out a way to bypass the human psyche and like let's say somebody has such a strong mind that they're hard or super spiritual, whatever it is, to be real hard to mentally manipulate. Well, what they've done is they've figured out a way to bypass the psyche and hit us with our physicality. And what they're doing,
Who is they?
It
Huh?
depends on what reality you're experiencing, but it's also based on your frequency. But I've also
Well,
been
listen.
targeted for about 4 years, so I
Well, listen.
understand.
I believe you might want to hear this
Oh,
without
Mind
interrupting.
War.
I don't know.
I know
So,
where you
Go
got your
ahead.
name from.
anyways, what they're doing is, they're psyoping us on all different levels.
Who is they? Who
It's
is they?
psyop city, right? Why people are trying to figure out the names of them, they, and some guy's middle name. Their
It
sons
doesn't
in
matter.
their sons in the next room being brainwashed to think he's on a flat Earth. Their daughters in the next room being
I think
brainwashed to
I
think
think he means
she's
the
a high
proverbial
priestess,
they.
and their wife is in the next room being brainwashed to think that she doesn't need her husband. So you
Well, let
might
me
want to
ask you
just
guys.
you might just want to listen. Anyways, as I was
Are you
saying,
talking about the Illuminati?
listen, it's all kinds of different sects, elites, and world leaders have come together with a common goal. Can you get past that? Can you figure that out? It's not them or they or one or two people. It's a bunch of
Uh, uh,
people.
In my experience,
Anyways,
it's better to try and talk to people like they're not idiots. That helps.
well, I mean, you like being interrupted? I didn't interrupt you, you know? And so I've been sitting here patiently waiting, and this guy's
Bro, I got
interrupted me
like
4
15
times.
seconds. You've had like 2 minutes.
Okay, guys, one at a time, man. Mind Ward, keep going, man. It's all good. We're all going to get. There's not a time limit over here, so we're all going to get our points across. Go ahead, Mind Ward.
Yeah, it would have been done already. Anyways, what they've figured out is how to bypass the human psyche, and that's why we're seeing so much metal and everything. And then with these intense frequencies all the time, if you're not giving yourself a break from it, then your body can never heal. And then if you don't have the proper nutrients in your body can never, even if you get a break from it, your body can't heal. And so then what they're doing is they're just frequencying us to death, and then you don't even have the proper stuff in your body to heal properly. So then what it's doing is it's deteriorating our blood-brain barrier, where metal can flow more freely onto your brain, which is making people more susceptible to mind control that they are implementing. And that's why you see everyone drifting into fantasy land. Like, there's people all over the world now imagining they're seeing people morphing into lizard people. There's 75 million people that think the Q army is real, and they're imagining people are clones. There's hundreds of millions of flat earthers now. You got all these people think they're about to blip off to the fifth dimension, and they're raising their frequencies and all this stuff. And in reality, they're all these different categories all starting to believe they're astral projecting and getting downloads. The lizard people are astral projecting and getting downloads also, right? There's no great awakening. Everyone's being brainwashed to think they're elevating while their minds are being deteriorated. And that's exactly what's happening.
Well, yeah, this would be one way of mass unaliving and getting you to agree to it. You're having an awakening, get you to leave your physical vessel.
Well, there can be no great awakening unless everyone starts protecting themselves against the frequencies and heavy metal, detoxing like crazy, getting the right vitamins, and spreading this type of information.
I basically
Hey,
have been
Mind
doing
War,
that.
really quick, if I may. I know where you got that name from. It's from Michael Aquino, right here.
Yeah, I heard about him back when I was 22, when I was in my training. The
Mhm.
older
Oh, he's got the book.
the older deprogrammers were talking about him when I was 22 years old, and
Mhm.
we knew about this plan many years ago, but the internet wasn't out yet, and it was so sinister we didn't think anyone would do it anyways. And the internet wasn't out yet, so we didn't know the power it would wield. But that's exactly what they're doing. They're brainwashing the world, you know.
Michael Aquino is I forget his position in the military. He was like high up, like maybe general or somewhere
Yeah.
up there in the
Well,
U.S.
Well,
Army.
they're not brainwashing the world. They're brainwashing specific regions.
No, they're
anyone that
brainwashing the whole
And
world.
They're
Everything you
not.
watch
They're not
and listen
brainwashing the
to.
whole world. They're not.
well, they came
oh,
hard on
no, there you
America for sure.
The people who are truly disconnected are the ones that most people ostracize.
Yeah, for real.
Because the things that you
Mm.
just said is old, ancient, old. And the fact
Yep.
that, when you said about, when you were talking like, you think it's new. I get it because I know the people that you actually learn from. But mostly Americans are the ones who are docile.
You think
who are caught up
you know the
who are caught up with all the stuff that you just said, the metals, because of the food that we eat and all that other stuff. Everybody's not
There's no
subscribing to that.
separation. They're
Not
just
It is a
bad
separation.
actors.
It is a separation. Trust me. Everybody doesn't subscribe to what happens here in
No, I'm
these.
saying what's being shown to us on television, on the computers, all of the news medias. Okay, there's 13 major networks. They're owned by the 13 families, and all the subsidiaries of those networks are owned by those families. They're telling us what they want us to know.
What families you talking about? That sounds like a movie.
That's hilarious.
Think Rockefellers, Windsors, what's the
That
others?
sounds like a movie.
the Bilderberg Group,
Wait, so
Bill
a
the
lot
Bear.
of this in the conspiracy theory world
Here
is
we go. The conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theory because the CIA's declassified
wait.
documents.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to say something. Hold on a second. We've already been in the conspiracy theory realm. In my opinion, it doesn't matter predictive programming. It doesn't matter who's taking over the world, what families are doing what. If you have found a level of peace within,
Exactly.
then you will never be thwarted by any of this. So it
You won't be
matter.
subjugated.
Well, it
But
seems like
Right.
to me 90% of Americans are not at peace right now. If you don't live in Little Rock,
Well, I
like if
don't
you,
worry about nobody else. I worry
well,
about my own peace.
I'm not talking about you. I don't think you represent the world. So let's
guys,
talk about. I'm saying 94% of people don't have that peace that you got.
what
People are
if
people are
what if
panicking right now. That's why they're getting. That's why they're tripping. That's why they're on the app.
what if
Hey,
some of
it's
the
hilarious, bro.
people
It's
are
everywhere.
literally just programs?
I'm
Because
going for
I've
a stroll in the
experienced
park
that.
while the
Like they
world
have
burns.
programming, like it's code. They're reading a script. They're reading
I
computer
don't
code. It's
think that
already
they're
been
reading
put
a
in
script.
people's
Well, they're
mind.
reading the predictive programming.
No,
In my
I've seen
opinion,
the
it's
script. I've
the
seen the
Bible is
computer
some of the most
script.
predictive programming that has ever been around. I mean, it's like the deepest of predictive programming.
Well, you know the
It's
Bible is,
I,
but the Bible is used by so many different organizations. I
Yeah,
don't know
for
why
a
you. I
reason.
don't know why y'all limited to Christianity when actually it's used by everybody.
The Abrahamic faith themselves purposely
Forget
brought
about
that
the
to the
Abraham.
Israel.
You know, and you do know at the end of the day, Freemasonry uses this big time.
They all use it.
Okay, yes, but
Yeah,
there's
they're
far
also
more.
very
Yeah.
heavy
There's
into
far more to the
astrology too.
organizations than you think.
Don't even talk about the organizations because technically they're all really kind of one.
No,
I
Like
think
when
the
I
problem
first
is though that
actually
we've been
go,
programmed to get validation from others around us when we need validation from ourselves. That's where our sovereignty is. The
yeah,
only thing that should ever rule you is reason. And we're
Mhm.
not very reasonable people in this day and age, and that's part of the problem.
And
I mean,
and
some of
that's
us, of course, are, but the vast majority of us don't have the ability to think and comprehend for ourselves. So we take on what everybody else does. We Google it, we use AI, we use everything else rather than going back to the root of the issue and actually determining for ourselves what the answer is.
But everybody
I
doesn't do that. And again, I said the few that don't do it, Americans ostracize them.
listen. When I woke up,
You're right,
I
and
didn't. I didn't
I
read
said that not
anything.
everybody does it, but the
I
vast
I'm gonna
didn't
say it.
majority
read.
I'm gonna say it
does.
like, yeah, 90% of Americans do. The other 10% of people that speak against it, they're treated like John the Baptist. if
yeah,
you believe in John the
it's
Beheaded.
true.
Correct.
It's all allegories. It's
Or
all
Joan
just
of
it's
Arc.
all an allegory for our existence in a way, man. Like we get to choose the allegory we listen to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When I used to
What do
talk
you?
to people, about the awakening and being woke and explaining to people the truth, whenever they wouldn't be able to accept it, whenever they wouldn't be able to conceptualize what I was telling them, my question to them was, "Do you fall asleep with the TV on?" Right? And they would say yes, and I'd say, "Well, there's your problem.
It's a program.
There's your problem.
It's a
You're
big
falling asleep
problem.
with the TV on. That's the issue. I can't talk to you. Let's just end this conversation now." Right? Like that's just it.
Right.
Hey guys,
We're
let
not
me
getting
get
any
Brett into
further
the
on this.
conversation really quick. Brett, are you there, Brett?
Yes, yes, and I just
How's it
had
going,
something
man?
to sort of to say in response to the TV on, because the subject matter that I'm seeing about the sci-fi movies being more literal. Well, I viewed a lot of those on that television set, and I remember as a young child seeing Gort in the 1951 classic "The Day the Earth Stood Still,"
Oh
giving
no.
this momentous message to mankind, which you would hear in all kinds of abduction stories, all the way up to, I remember that school in Zimbabwe. There was like 200 kids and teachers. They all got the same, almost verbatim message.
Oh yeah, you're talking about like this that when they had the like alien landing or whatever.
Yes,
It's
there was an
basically
alien
like a
landing.
mass hypnosis. It's like a mass hypnosis.
I think it was Ashtar or
But the
something that
thing is,
happened.
No, the school
look
is
at
was something
Gort,
different.
and Gort looks like he should be the driver of the what was that thing called? Cybertruck. Like anyone who gets out of a Cybertruck, they just kind of look wonky. They got their slides on, their t-shirts, and their shorts from Abercrombie and Fitch. But if Gort was coming out, he would look like he belongs in the vehicle.
Have
Just
you
food
ever
for
seen
thought.
the Star Trek episode, the Lost episode?
Yes,
It
yes,
just
I actually.
repeats. It just keeps repeating. Like it's hilarious, and they don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you
It just
have you heard the conspiracy that the Messiah that everyone is waiting for is actually just AI?
I don't
Never
believe
heard
it
that.
personally.
I,
There is
listen,
a base
after
reality.
after reading AGI yesterday, well, no, last week, and reading what it's going to do right now and its connections to
Yeah.
a Neuralink, it's listen, it is the Messiah. What it's going to do is going to be the healings of Jesus. You know, somebody who's paralyzed doesn't have to worry about moving their limbs. They can move things with their minds through Neuralinks and its connection to AGI. That is dope.
Right.
Well, that's when you
But
can
where is
drop
the
the
physical
A in
body?
That's
Hold
the
on,
AI.
hold on.
perversion of the
That's when you drop the A in
Where?
AI and drop the O in
What?
organic I, and it just
Right.
becomes I, just intelligence.
It doesn't
You
really
know,
matter,
Where? Wait a
right?
it
second.
doesn't really
I
matter
want to.
what
I
the
want to ask
mechanisms
this.
are and what you're
Well, it
interacting
matters because you don't.
One second, guys.
You're
One
not.
second. Go ahead, Uncle. Go ahead, Uncle.
Where's the physical body when this is all happening? I think
In
that's what the
stasis,
right. Like, where
or
would you have to physically be?
well, I've seen 3 different versions. If you want to know what I've actually seen, I've seen me in I'm gonna say it starts with an N suit, wearing VR goggles under sedation. I've
Wait.
seen.
So what I meant is what Straight Talk is talking about. Like if you
You,
do the
your
Neuralink and
body,
you go into AGI, and where's your physical body go?
it's right
I'm.
there.
I'm.
It's still here. It's here, but it's connected to the AGI.
So
Do we
we
need
have
a
to say
physical body? Once we're
So wait, you say
connected
we have
to an AGI, hold on, guys.
You st-
Once we're connected to an AGI and or Neuralink, do we actually need a body at that point?
What's an
you need some
AGI?
form to actually
Somebody
operate in the
explain.
realm. In this realm, you need something.
Well, we're in our
right. Well,
vehicles in this realm right
what I'm
now.
saying is like, so what are you saying? I'm gonna be feeding my face with cereal or whatever while I'm
Cereal.
floating in the
with
virtual.
breath.
Nah,
You
dude,
need
you're still
breath.
listen. You're still going to be functioning like in the situation that we have with obesity in America, or if you need something healed, AGI is going to be able to heal that.
Yes, but when you take that, you
That is
also
that
have
is
you're going
literally
into an
the
agreement with subjugation of your mind.
right. You are giving over a level of peace because you are
No,
not
you're.
going to do it yourself. Like
Well, see here,
you can
you
heal
saying
yourself.
no, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
I've got
body
a
is able
question.
to
Yeah, you
heal
can't.
itself.
There are
I've got a
stories out
question.
there.
I've got a quick
Go
question,
ahead.
guys, really quick. Hey, Sarah, you there?
I am here.
Am I my mind or am I my body? Or am I
You
both?
are.
What
You
makes
are.
me? What go on, I'm sorry, go on.
You are both. You are the mind because it's what gives you the processing power to think, but you're also the body. You are also the body because without the body, you wouldn't function in this reality.
So
Many
I
people
can't
believe in different dimensions.
I can't live here with just my mind connected to the AI, to the AIG, to the Neuralink. I can't just live here with my mind and I summon whatever I want to happen. I experience through my mind. I can't do that. I have to have a body.
Well, you have to
Mm.
be congruent with reality. Our reality doesn't allow for that right now. Our reality calls for interaction with the vessel that we have here. Now, could that change possibly in the future? Of course. But the
Well, see,
dynamics
that
of our
is
world that we live in would have to be congruent with that reality. It's
So
not
let's say I
reality.
want to
when they were
let's say I
talking
want to
about
go to the beach.
depopularization.
Hold on, guys. I want to hold on, guys. I want to dance one more verse with Sarah, then I'll let it go. Let's say, Sarah, that I'm only a brain. My brain is connected to Neuralink and the AIG. and I want to go to the beach, can I simply summon either cameras or pictures from the beach, cameras that are already mounted at the beach, and I have that experience through the apparatus that's there? Like if I want to go to the Eiffel Tower, can I summon the cameras and or other folks' smartphones and experience it that way through my brain?
Absolutely.
Because the experience is only through our brain anyway, right?
It's out
We
Yeah,
there.
but do
already
you want to
have
do you want to
things
feel the
like that
wind?
already, though. We
Do you want to
have
feel the wind at the
systems like the
beach?
Oculus.
Do you want to
It
feel the
Doesn't
wind
allows
at
you
the
to.
beach, or do you just want to
It
see
One
it?
at
allows
a
you to
time,
do
guys.
just
One at
that.
a time, guys. So, Brett, you go, and then 78, you go. Go ahead, Brett.
Oh well, you were just bringing it down to cameras. I mean, do you just want to see the beach, or do you want to feel the wind? Do you want to feel smell the salt air? Do you want to taste salt water? Do you want to feel the sand under your toes, or do you just want to see it? Like I guess
Well,
that's kind of
I
where
think
I'm
that's the
going
catch,
with
right?
Your
Like
mind
how
doesn't
do
know the
they
yeah.
difference.
Do you want physical interaction?
exactly?
Right,
Your
because they
mind
do
doesn't
have
know
that
the difference
technology where like
between
they have like the sensors where they can pick up
yes.
a dandelion like and pick it one at a time, but then they can also crush something huge, like a tennis ball. So they can be delicate, and so with that they are discovering that maybe they could have some kind of physical interaction where they could actually have little micro sensors to feel wind and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I would think senses would be easy to pull off for
That would be the
as far
easiest.
as the brain it goes. You know what I mean?
If you have
Really,
the brain, you just
because
have to feel electrodes in the brain.
right, yeah, because people they're gonna thrive off of whatever they touch. Like I can touch my mouse pad, and everybody else is gonna feel something different than I feel, but the same. That's the chaos. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really matter. We all are experiencing it the way we wish and choose to experience it, no matter how. Like not everybody likes bananas, but I like bananas. You know.
But
So it tastes
opinion,
different to you.
opinion, you wouldn't be controlling everything, and it's not AIG, it's the AGI that be controlling you.
Yeah, I was getting that
Depends.
wrong. I know I was getting that acronym wrong. My bad. Yeah,
I
AGI.
really,
What does the acronym
I
stand for?
artificial
Someone
general
please.
intelligence,
Thank you.
artificial and general intelligence. It's the super. So chat.
I
Every
know
app
what
that
it is,
every
but
AI that we do right now runs individually.
well, they were trying to make AI sentient.
So
So they
again, so watch this. AGI will be able to control it all at one time. Everything: transportation, military, businesses,
it already
education.
does.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't control some of us because the
It doesn't
realities are
control. Again, like
splitting.
I said again, you need to go get informed. AGI will be able
So
to control
it's starting
everything
now.
all at one time in Abilene, Texas. Go look it up. They're already building this battery to actually
It's
power
right.
it up.
Well, the actual,
I don't
the
think you know what I'm talking
machine,
about.
the
Yeah,
machine.
well, all governments will be obsolete, right? AI will literally run everything. That's the
Uh
Exactly.
plan.
Not
oh.
the AI, AGI. And then here's the thing about it: they're doing it to be in competition with you know who. These other countries that want their own AGI that's building, like Israel's building their own, China's building
They
their
don't
own.
have to build
So
their own because it
they're
already
doing,
exists.
ma'am, they're doing it right now. So I
It
don't know what
already exists in the Gaza Strip in the pyramid there.
it doesn't exist
It
there.
does exist there.
It
They
It's a
doesn't
will
fact.
merge.
Well,
They will
okay,
merge to
okay.
become
I think
one.
it's all starting now. I think we are just now catching on. This is all
Well, no,
starting
they had
just
to
now.
find the person that could activate it. That's the
But what I
thing.
mean by that, is that
Well,
it's all been in motion,
it
and
has
now I
it
think
has
it's
been in
just
motion. It has.
right.
'Cause what's going to happen is if you go back and study on this AGI after they finish this power source in Abilene, Texas, right? It's going to gather all the data that we've given it since Facebook, since MySpace. It's going to pull it all up.
MySpace.
We're
Every
already
MySpace shout out.
every social platform, everything that we fed it, right, through our smart TVs, through our smartphones, it's going to know everything because we're giving it right now. This is how the behavior and understanding what you do. This is how it's going to be able to know, and this is where I got the minority. Man, they're going to be able to know who's criminals, who's going to commit crimes before they do it. If you go look at what this thing is going to do, it'll freak you out. I think it's amazing though.
It's already
Well,
happening.
I
Well,
think
there
there's
was a
some issues
Minority
with that
Report
though.
movie
I think there's
that
issues
was
with
like
that
that.
though. We're going to run into some issues where it doesn't predict right, or things like that. And if we
I don't think
already
so.
had this tech before, I think we will. And if we already had this tech before, not saying that we did or not saying that we don't, but that topic was brought up. If we had that tech before and we don't have it now, does anybody wonder why?
This is my understanding that we've always had the tech, but they had to
That's
awaken us
real
all.
points.
They had to awaken us because it's based on frequency. It's frequency based. They had to get to a certain frequency in order to activate the technology.
Well,
Therefore,
you
they
know what's
needed to
funny?
Yeah,
find.
We've been
but
watching
it's not
movies since
active
the
now.
80s and 90s, and they all been talking about AI even before it became popular right now.
Well, there's
That's
Colossus.
true.
there's a
Colossus,
CIA declassified
1970.
program called the WASP program,
1970?
basically.
But you know, hey, how do we view that? You know, us Americans, we don't even think nothing actually is real until we see it. So, you know, in the 70s, it was all fun and games. I mean, we wasn't taking that serious. I don't know about you, I wasn't.
No, it was
Where
sci-fi.
did they get the
It was
idea?
adventure.
Where did they
Yeah.
get the idea of AI in the 80s?
Because it
Where do
already
you think so?
existed.
Where do you
Somebody
think
had
so?
to somebody had to
Atlantis.
see it in their
The
head.
story of
Well,
Atlantis
the movie
a
Colossus came
similar
out in
phenomenon.
1970.
Yeah, but where did they get the idea for that movie to begin with? It's because it was a reality that somebody remembered at some point,
How do
right?
you know that?
Because
How
that's
do
where
you know
It
that?
leaks into the collective consciousness.
because there's nothing new under the sun. That's how I know that.
Oh, that's the Bible. You've been reading the
No,
Bible.
But we're
nothing
not
new
going
under the
based off the
sun. It's
Bible.
true.
I'm
We're
not
in a
Christian, but
time-locked quantum loop. That's why they
If
know
you
what's
guys
going to
if you
happen.
guys Google, you know, just a quick weird fact. If you Google who went the deepest on planet Earth ever, they say it was the director from Terminator. He went the deepest in the ocean. Isn't that crazy? A director?
Well,
Yo, hey, do you want to know something fun about the Terminator and the Matrix? They were
They-
both written by the same older black woman.
yes.
And she
Oh, that's right. I
actually,
remember that.
yeah, dude. So basically, the long story short is John Connor, JC, Jesus Christ,
oh wow.
is born as Neo inside the Matrix because they lose the battle in the physical world, so it has to be reserved to the metaphysical world. And so he is reborn as Neo in the Matrix.
Listen,
Yeah, and they stole her rights and everything. They
oh
totally
yeah.
did her
Yeah,
dirty.
dude,
I
This,
can't
I think
believe
this is
yeah.
it.
part of my story, or some of her stories, for real. Like, because this is the story I keep getting. But think about it. What if we were operatives and we were brainwashed and we were used, those with spiritual gifts? It's more what I think. They were using us to create their own little spiritual gifted army. And so now
So we have no
program and
one.
deprogram us.
So we have no one that's kind of rooting for the Jesus story. No one in the room is thinking that the Bible is more literal than sci-fi.
I spoke to
I'm gonna tell.
No, it's
Dude,
not.
thank you
We
for
already know.
bringing that back 180 because I believe that it's all just an allegory. It is up to us through free will to decide what we do with it.
It's a
Our
Kabbalistic
anything.
response is all
text.
that matters.
It's a
Anything that's
Kabbalistic
written
text.
down in a book exists energetically because it has personality, it has feelings, they have friends, they have a life.
Huh?
So on the energetic level, any book that was ever written, those characters actually exist
No, they,
frequency wise,
Well,
depending
how
on
come
how
all
many.
the elites, all the
why do
elites
you-
that run the world, why
Listen, that
don't they
word.
believe in Jesus? Why don't they believe in the Bible? They don't. They
Who
believe
said
in
no?
Satan.
Now,
Why?
hold on.
Why is that?
You said they don't believe in Jesus, but here's my thing. What makes you think you got free will?
We really.
Uh-oh.
It's
What
not
makes
free
you?
will. It's agency.
What makes
You
you?
have
What makes you
agency.
think you got the ability to do what you want to do? You ain't never done what you want to do.
No, I
You
Oh.
have the
Well,
ability.
hey,
You do have the ability to do whatever you want to
Hold
do
on.
within.
That's the genius of this whole game is to think you actually are free. It's like having a dog on a leash. You seen those new leashes where you can let your
I
dog
think
go all
you're
the way
missing the
out?
point of free
I'm
will.
not
Hey,
missing the point.
no.
I'm not missing the
That's
point.
That's a crazy analogy. Hold
Hey,
on.
listen, hey,
You
hold
talking
on,
about the
hey,
leashes where you can like pull back the string?
you can, yeah, I got my dog, right?
That's a
Listen,
crazy analogy.
and I was showing my dog. I said, "This is what they think free will is, right?" My dog thinks he's actually free because I got this long, and we live in this country, right? But I can press that button. When I press that button, it yanks him all the way back, and he's like,
That's
"What the
crazy
hell are you?"
work. That's crazy work.
That's how we are.
Here's a better analogy.
So that's what we are. We're on a tether. That's crazy.
Well,
well,
it's like you have the
who, who,
predictive
who,
programming is written a story
who,
based on what it
who's
believes
allowed
that you're going to experience.
who's allowed 30 days off of work to do whatever? Who's allowed 30
That's
days?
deep.
Okay,
That's deep.
who gets 30 days off work? Nobody. Everyone's
That's
like, oh, I
deep.
went to England, I went to France, I went to Japan. How long were you
That's
there
still
for? 2 weeks. Oh, why don't you stay a bit longer then? If you
well.
loved it so much.
That's
Oh,
good
because I gotta get back
analogy.
to
That's
work.
good. That's good.
I gotta
That's
get back to
deep.
work.
Well,
That's
hey,
deep.
I got one.
I
I
got
got
bills to
one for
pay, I got
that,
the
bro.
house, I got the
I lived my
mortgage,
life. I lived my life the way I wanted to. I traveled the whole world for 20 years.
So did
I
I.
think
So
I
did
think
I.
what
Okay.
we're
I did
getting
not
confused.
pursue
Okay,
a
but
career
what
to
we're
anchor
getting
myself to one
confused with,
geography.
what we're
I
getting
want to go back.
confused is the
One
difference.
second, guys.
Is the
One second,
distinction.
guys. Go to depth.
What we're getting confused is the distinction between freedom and agency.
Mm.
You can choose to do something, whether you want to
Or
go
not.
left or right, make a decision. But do you have freedom? Absolute freedom? No.
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 But you have agency. You can still direct your own being, depending on how conscious you
Well, now
are.
technically, we went into
Through
But
we went
response.
into
you're
contract with
so
this
yes.
thing
What
and agreed to
people
something.
It's either freedom or security. You know, you can't have like one or the other. Like back in the 80s, everyone used to laugh, you know, and say, "Oh, they're in like the Soviet Union. They've got cameras everywhere." That would never happen in
Everybody
America.
has
That would
cameras
never happen in
everywhere. None of
America.
us
But
have
they were
ever had
safe. They were
privacy.
so safe in the Soviet Union, and we were so much freer than they were.
You know what's so
Well,
funny? They always bash China like, oh, they got the social credit score system. But if you look at videos
Oh,
from China,
we do
they
too.
are living way better than we are over
Yeah,
here, man.
it's propaganda. We're like North Korea. We are like
They're
North Korea.
innovating. They're innovating new shit. You're seeing new buildings, new railways. You know, people can
And
grow their
I would
own
like to
food.
go back
They
to
own their
the
homes.
Matrix,
unless you've
like,
actually been there
and free
yourself,
will.
do you really know they're doing that?
On the
Everything.
surface,
Why do you think a couple of our presidents have been actors? It's all a show.
on the
Shakespeare said
surface.
the world is a stage and we're all players. It was literal.
Can I say something on free will?
Hmm.
Free will is the ability to do anything with inside of the capacity of the nature of the whatever we're talking about. You can equate it to a dog or whatever. So while you can have that dog on a leash and you can push that button, that dog can make a choice and come back and bite the owner's hand, and then that dog is free to do as it will. But often we don't do that because we don't want to suffer the consequences of action. Now, that doesn't
I've been
mean that I
doing
can
the
get up on the
action.
top of a. What was that?
I've been doing the action because
We'll
I
talk.
have been attacked by this artificial intelligence for about 4 years now. It's hyper game theory, is what it is.
What?
Hyper game theory.
Well,
It is a literal mental
let's go back to the
warfare.
Get away
Matrix.
from AI then. Just delete it.
I don't do
I
AI.
think you'll be good.
I don't watch
I heard
TV.
AI is causing mass psychosis for
Oh,
some people because they
absolutely.
think it's sentient.
I've seen
They think
that.
it's
Yeah, it
real.
is.
People are giving way too much
Yeah.
power to this AI. They literally believe it. The ether is the spiritual ether being that's manifesting itself and
No,
talking
there's
to
a
us.
bunch of gang stalkers that don't want people who've actually
It-
experienced this to
It's
speak
like
out loud, and I
it's
refuse to shut up.
Universal
Well,
agreement. I
I
don't
would
think
get
it's
on
conditional
technology at
will.
all.
You have to look at who is funding ChatGPT, right? Once you see the money behind it, and you see that it's not completely free, you can't just say whatever you want to ChatGPT. It's
You
very,
can
very
just say
expensive.
whatever you want in any situation. Now, there are always going to be ramifications for action, consequences that are outside of our control, but that doesn't mean you can't act with inside of that nature that you have to do anything you want. You can do anything you want to do that is within your ability to be able to do it. That's free will.
That's not a
Now,
reality, though. That's not a reality.
it is
That's
a reality.
it
What
has
can you
never.
not do that?
Listen, it has
What
never
can you
happened.
not do that you want to do?
Well,
You
Name one
okay?
thing.
You can't
Okay,
go
Get
to
off
the
the
watch
app.
this.
Walmart.
Her
I'm gonna
point,
tell you. I'm gonna tell you
her
right now.
point
You
right
can't
now. You're on the
listen
app.
to
I
me.
can name a few
Hold on.
things, Sarah. I gotta be
There's
honest
a
with you.
You could get
there's a
off the
lot
app.
of things. There's a lot of things. Watch this, Sarah. You're speaking from. I hope, I wish, or it sounds good. It sounds motivational, but it's not an everyday reality, and it's never happened in the United States of America. It hasn't even happened in 1,000 years, where people think I want to do something and they do it. Can you elevate? You know how
They
many
can
people?
absolutely
Hold
do
on,
that. They
hold
are
on.
not free
You
from
know how many?
consequence.
You know how many people think they want to be a millionaire every day? Every day, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Why? But they don't become a
That's not
millionaire.
within their nature.
Yes, it is.
That
You
is not
said it's
within
not.
their
Hold on.
nature.
That's
And
what
if
you. That's
no, and I
subjective.
will tell
That's
you how.
subjective.
No, it
hold
isn't, and I
on.
will tell
Yes,
you
it is.
how.
You can't tell
It's
me
not
how.
Can you let
It's
subjective.
subjective, though.
I
It is
can't
subjective.
I
Your
can
opinion
It
is
is.
absolutely tell you
subjective. How
how.
about that?
If you allow me
She's
to
Hold on
giving.
one
She's
second,
she's
guys. One
giving.
at a time.
She's giving her
One at a
opinion,
time.
but she's not giving no facts.
That's subjective.
because you haven't let me speak.
Go
You've
ahead,
been
Sarah.
speaking,
Go ahead,
but
Sarah.
go ahead. Yeah, yeah, and make sure you give some facts and some evidence. Go ahead.
You have the ability to do and be whatever you want to be. Your inability to be a millionaire is not my problem. I went from making no money to making over $100,000 a year, and I did that because I wanted to. Each year I make more. Everybody has the ability to govern their own choices. Because you made choices that didn't result in you being a millionaire, it's not my problem. It is a consequence of your actions, period. Anything that you want to do, you can do it. You can harm somebody, you can be kind to somebody, you can do anything you want to do. You are not free from the consequences of your own actions.
You still didn't
Right.
make it.
So
Now
so
watch
wait,
this.
wait, wait,
You
wait,
you
wait.
you, you
So
didn't
based
make
on
you
that
didn't make
logic,
your point.
so based on that logic, that means the children in Gaza could be millionaires if they want and make $100 million if they want to.
Right.
Well, there are conditions when it's a
No,
child
no.
because they
See,
don't
now
have
you're gonna be
governed.
selective. Stop that. Stop that,
No,
Sarah. Come on
no,
now.
because
Stop
children
that.
don't
Whoa,
have the
whoa, come
ability
Don't
on
do
to
now.
that.
do what
Don't
they
do
Don't
want
that.
to
don't be
Don't
do.
do
like
that.
that to her, man. Come on.
Don't. Hey,
She's
I don't listen. Hey, listen. We're not gonna do that. We're adults here, and at the end of the day, nobody disrespects,
well,
but nobody's
you're
gonna govern how
dominating
we
the
speak.
conversation, though, brother.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not dominant. You don't like what I'm saying to her. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm not
No,
being disrespectful. And one thing I love about this atmosphere is that we can all disagree to agree and keep moving on and still build. I
well,
don't have
I've
to
been
agree with
trying
her.
to say something for like 15 minutes,
Well, go
man.
ahead and say what you're going to say. But at the end of the day, what I love about this space is you can say what you want to say without me
Well, let
agreeing with
people
you, and
say
we can
it
still
Don't shut your
build.
mouth.
Say it again.
Let them say it.
I
Well,
said
see,
you can if you don't shut your
well,
mouth.
I mean,
That's
I
the
don't have
issue
to.
that we're
I don't
having.
have say, Sarah. I don't have to shut my mouth. That's disrespectful. So I can tell you, shut the fuck up. See,
Okay,
because you
man.
got
You pretty
triggered.
much
Now
did
you
once
got
cut me off,
Emotional.
you got
sir.
Getting
triggered. You
emotional
got
now.
triggered now, and you said shut my mouth like I'm your child. I'm
No,
not.
I'm not
I
triggered at
don't.
all.
Sarah,
This
you've
shit's
never.
going
Let me say this to
toxic,
you,
dude.
Sarah.
I
You've
gotta
never
go. I
made.
gotta go.
You've
They're
never made
arguing. They're
one point.
yelling.
You've
I
never
gotta
made
Getting
go, man.
one
aggressive
point
and
to me.
hostile
All you
the
said was
whole
I made
time.
$100,000 because I want to.
Bye.
So you said I made $100,000 because I want to.
You really hate
No,
it
I
for no
made
But that
reason.
right
$100,000
there,
because I made choices.
that
All
Okay,
right,
but I'm
guys.
saying
Let me let Fumble in the conversation.
situation.
Guys, let me
Someone
let
in a
Fumble
different
into the
situation.
conversation. D-Man, 1 second. Let me just let Fumble in the conversation. We can take a break really quick and woo-sigh. You know how we do. How's it going, Fumble?
How you doing? How y'all doing?
I'm well, man. I'm well. We're just having a spirited conversation. What do you think about the topic?
It's a very touchy subject because you can get caught up in the way you feel super easily.
True.
And that's something you don't want because now you're being dictated by words.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that you would meet Jesus before you met the Terminator?
I'd meet both of them. I've met both of them.
That's hilarious. You
I meet them
met
every
both
day.
Jesus and the Terminator?
I meet them every day.
That's wild work. Hey, where you hang
I
out at,
love
bro?
it. I love it.
I hang out in this world.
Okay. Hey, you know, all right. Jenny,
Looking for Jesus. I think he could like show himself to everyone else, not just you.
true indeed. Jenny, are you
How
there,
y'all
Jenny?
doing? I am here.
How art thou?
I'm pretty good. How are y'all?
Pretty good.
Well, Jenny, let me just say this to you, ma'am. You're like a superstar on TikTok because I try to get you on lives all the time and you're already busy on somebody else's live. So your opinion is clearly valued in this space.
Or sometimes I'm just arguing because I need my daily dose of, I don't know, stupidity. Sometimes I
Adrenaline?
argue over.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Yes, I don't
Well, what
know.
do you think about this topic that we're dealing with? Are sci-fi movies more literal than the Bible, would you say?
I don't know if they're more literal. I think they are trying to draw parallels between the Bible. I have my own opinion about sci-fi movies because working in technology and working in the AI space, I feel like heavy on the feel that that there's right now at this point in time a little bit too much. There's a little bit more technology than we can handle in this space.
What makes you say that?
And just some of the rooms that I've been in recently across different industries, from healthcare to finance. And I understand it's super exciting and it's new and it's novel, but I feel like we just need someone to rein it in a bit. But I don't know who that could
Well,
be.
I can kind of piggyback a little bit about what you're saying, because the industry that I basically make my living in, which is television and film, it just got shattered 3 days ago. Now, it was already being smacked around by ChatGPT for the last 2 years, but 3 days ago, Google released this thing called Google Flow. Does everyone know about Google
Yeah,
Flow?
V3O or whatever it is. Or?
VE3 Google Flow. And I've used this prompt. I put in a sentence, and it made me a 30-second video. It's a 6K. So it's like, I'm a writer. So you're telling me now I don't have to use human writers. I can write my screenplay into a prompt, and it's going to give me the background actors and lead actors and voiceover. Is that what you're telling me right now? So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, the things are being rocked as we speak.
Yeah, and just imagine the decisions that are being made by AI in healthcare when it comes to organ transplant and who's on the waiting list for much needed
Oh,
organs.
wow. Whoa, let's
It's
explore that.
yeah,
digging our
it's
graves with a digital shovel.
pretty much.
And it
Yeah.
also goes based on how much income they make too. So
Oh,
AI
so
can
many
filter them out that
factors.
way.
So many factors. Age, race, height, even. Going back to 2 generations. Just so much information, so much data. And on the surface, it seems like these AI systems and workflows are trying to help physicians and help surgical teams and help neurologists make the most ethical decision ever. But it lacks human compassion. So
So are you saying something similar to, if a person has a 101 IQ versus someone that has a 164 IQ, the 101 is about to lose their life because we don't need you?
Could be, or worst case scenario, luckily we stopped it. It was an AI agency that was trying to get government funding for its software to pick the best donor. So the example they gave was a 5-year-old little boy of mixed race, didn't say which 2 races, but just of mixed race, whose parents were in their 40s, but projected to live to maybe their 60s, just based on their family history. Who gets the kidney? That 5-year-old little boy, or the 45-year-old YT man who's in excellent health and whose parents, as well as him, is projected to live well into his 90s and be a more contributing, member of society.
It sounds like Get Out.
Pretty much.
So
But
Jenny, do you think we need human emotion in making
yes,
specific decisions like that?
yeah,
Do you think
because
now in today's society that a lot of human emotions are actually being biased?
Yep. So the system will try to get ahead of that and be like, no, human, you're making the wrong decision. You must go with the younger child. And a human might say, depending on what type of human it is, might say, you know what, you're right. Kids deserve a chance at life. And another human might say, that's true. But how likely is this kid really going to live? Come on, look at the environment they live in. Look at the foods that they eat. Too many processed foods, too many sugary sweets.
Almost like a
No.
race thing.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. But we give the data. We give the data willingly when we go into the hospital.
Is that what they were
On
talking
our
about in
license.
Congress a few years ago when they were speaking
Yes.
about death panels
Yes.
with the healthcare insurance companies? Where,
Mm-hmm.
so now there's literally an AI death panel, Sarah. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Man.
But
That can also
but opinion. Let me say this. That's what Gary Brecker was doing.
What's that?
And Gary Brecker, I don't know if y'all know who Gary Brecker. I mean, he was a
I
human
don't.
biologist. You should look him up. 10X conferences. He worked for health insurance companies. They said and
Okay.
I learned about him through Dana White. He was the guy that
Okay,
could tell when you actually was going to be on the live. He could tell you to the actual day and time
Mm-hmm.
that's
specifically.
wild.
Look up Gary Brecker. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you're
Gary
smart,
Becker.
if you're a nerd, look him up when it comes to human biology. And he
Oh yeah,
specifically
I'm a
says
nerd.
he worked for the insurance companies, and based off of taking this test called the methylation test, he could tell specifically how long you had to live all the way down to the wire, and he specifically would actually play a part in helping certain people not get insurances when they unalive.
Wow.
Ooh, I wonder
Wow.
what
Look
those
him up.
people
Okay.
look like. I wonder if
Very
they're ugly.
tough.
Like,
Yeah,
I
Let
wonder
me
if
get
they're
I am Lee in the conversation really quick. Lee, are you there, Lee?
Yeah,
Lee, are you there, bro?
I'm here
How's
sitting
it
back
going,
trying to
man?
get the feel for the room.
Yeah, man. You know, we're all in here, man. You know, room full of nerdy thinkers. You know how we do.
Oh
Um,
yeah. No, I've
what
met
do-
you a
what do
couple
you?
times. Opinion
Yes,
Nation. We've been
sir.
talking
Oh,
a
yes,
few
sir.
times.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, you're in the All Star cast. You, Sarah,
Aw,
the Adept, Straight Talk. Jenny is too highbrow for us. You know, she's very popular in these internet streets, and so we can only get her once every month. But it's okay. We're glad to have her here. You know.
well, good,
Oh yeah.
good,
She's an all
good
star,
kudos.
and I love it.
Good
Yeah, I
kudos.
love it. So, what do you think, though, Lee? What do you think about this concept of sci-fi movies being more literal than the Bible? What's your take?
There is truth in everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
There is truth and information in everything. The problem is we have to discern it because we are given the pieces of the puzzle, but we're giving them in covert ways, in ways that are fanciful, so we don't accept them. We think, oh, that's just crazy. That just happened on a movie. Well, wait a
Yeah.
minute.
do you believe everything you see on TV? Do you believe everything you see
Absolutely
in
not.
movies? That's the easy way of
Absolutely
debunking
not.
it. But they've been feeding you the best
But
place to hide a tree is in a forest.
oh, exactly.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
but
exactly.
also, do you disregard everything you
I'm
see
shivering off that.
in TV, on movies, or can you take the information from it and see how it could be true?
No, I
If
studied.
you disregard
Hey,
it,
can
all
I
of
play
it,
devil's advocate real quick with everybody, especially Brett, because you brought up a good topic in terms of do you believe everything you see on TV? Well, I will first say, you know, some folks know that my motto is I believe nothing, I study until I know. But what I've
Yep.
been studying about this thing called the television is that most of the things on the television are now in our three dimensions, Brett. Like, talk me down.
That's correct. That is correct. Well, the thing is before these things are in three dimensions, where do they exist? They exist in the mind. They
Oh,
exist as an idea. Before they can hit the
oh.
before it can hit the
The
blueprint board,
multiverse.
it has to be patented first. So it has to come out of someone's mind. I'll give you
This.
case in point. When I used to like love GI Joes and shit, you know, I used to say, "Hey, wouldn't that be cool if Cobra had a plane that looked like the freaking Fairchild A-10?" And then, sure enough, that year they came out with a freaking plane that looked almost like an
That's
A-10.
wild.
And then I wanted a
Yeah.
forward swift wing aircraft. All the things I wanted in GI Joe, they kept pumping that stuff out. And I'm like, damn it, I got spies all around me.
Or
But no,
maybe
I was
you
just
kept
surfing
pumping
on the
that stuff out.
same mind waves. I was just surfing on the same mind waves, and someone thought exactly the same way I did, and they caught it.
So, Brett, do you move in silence now?
Do I move in
Ah,
what?
I see what you did there.
What was
He
that?
says, "Do you move in silence now? Do you move in silence?"
Because
Do I
everything you
move in
make is being
silence?
turned against you.
Do I think everything is
No.
being turned against me? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying since you are creating realities or making things, do you hold it to yourself now, or like, you know what I'm saying? Just
No, I'm sorry. I'm lost somewhere.
The point, Brett, is you were saying that every time you thought about a different aspect of GI Joe, it would happen.
Oh, yes, and that's what you're saying about these things are 3D now. Like these things were
So
originally
that's why he's
concepts
asking
based
you,
on
do you move in silence now because your thoughts were creating your reality?
Oh, well, the silence is just a byproduct of it all. I mean, the thing is you witness what people say when they open their mouths, and they like, you know, you're ridiculous. You're you're hallucinating. Oh, it's just the wind. That sort of thing. And they're pacifying answers. And I used to remember those old Victorian tales, and they'd be like, and they always put down women. You know, women were always
Right.
Adelaide, it's just the wind. You know, and they always like treated them like children, and that used to just grind me up as a child watching that. because I'd
I,
see
I
the
have
same
a
repetition in real life.
I have an interesting point for in relation to sci-fi movies. You guys notice that in sci-fi movies and horror movies, they always stem the horror off of like Christian Judeo beliefs, but never really hardcore into like Jewish traditions or anything. It's always
That's hilarious.
isn't that interesting though? They Christian beliefs are always the brunt of every horror movie,
Oh
sci-fi,
man,
whatever.
And, spe-
check out some of the
and
Filipino beliefs.
specifically
Oh
and
my
specifically
god.
Catholicism. Because D-Man, specifically, you always see a priest.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh
You
shit.
always see a priest.
The Vatican is
Yeah.
always
Because
involved.
I'm ignorant. I know I truly am ignorant. Are exorcisms part of other or casting out demons? Is that part of other
Does
religions?
Islam
Yeah,
do
Yes,
that?
it
Does
is.
Islam cast
Is
out
that
demons?
yeah, we
is
do all
other
the time.
Yeah,
is it
Oh,
part of other
okay.
cultures? Yes, it is a part of other
Yes, it
cultures.
is.
Yes.
No, but what
Well,
I'm
Jenny, let me ask you this,
trying to
Jenny.
understand
Jenny,
is
can I ask you a question?
why is it okay?
Sure.
Why is it okay for that religion to be the brunt of all jokes, but not other religions? That's what I'm trying to get to.
That's a
Everything is
great
a birth.
question. That's a great question.
Jenny, can I ask you this really quick?
Sure.
Have you ever experienced anything from the Bible that came true in your life?
Mm.
Anything that you can point to in your life that's straight out of the Bible? Like, yeah, Psalms 14:5 said this and it happened. Are you able to do that?
Maybe in terms of like miracles, perhaps. A long time ago, I used to be kind of skeptic. I mean, I grew up
Yeah.
going to church, but I really didn't know. I didn't have a relationship with Christ. It was kind of, far for me. And it took a few things for me to experience to be like, oh, I do think I believe in Christ. The whole like ask and you shall receive. There's been a few times. Now, some people tell me this was just manifestation or wishful thinking,
Mm.
but I'm kind of like,
Mm.
did I just unlock the power of prayer? Maybe prayer really, really is that strong. There's been several times where I have written down something that I truly, truly wanted and then prayed about it and then fasted for 3 days. And within a week, I got it.
Mm. Yeah.
Including, well, it didn't go to me directly, but it went to my household. It was $10,000.
Yeah.
So everyone
Yeah.
told me, oh, that was just luck. And I'm like, was it? Was it though?
So
Was
no,
it?
listen, I'm into what you're saying because I've quite honestly I've done some similar things, but I'm not actually any religion. So it's like, how do I attribute these manifestations when I don't have a deity in my life like a Allah or a Jesus? Like, so why did it work for me too?
Is it? Maybe it's energy. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's as simple as like
there we
energy
go.
and
You
frequency.
know what Bob Proctor says? Bob Proctor says it's called the law of attraction.
Oh,
Y'all
Manifestation.
remember?
so does the
Remember that?
Kabbalion.
Y'all,
The Kabbalion says that too.
it's all the same thing.
It's the
It's all
Hermetic
the same thing.
principles. It's natural
It's all the
law.
same thing, though. Yeah, it's not. It's not different. You know, y'all remember the infomercial guy called Kevin Trudeau? He came on like at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I
He
remember that.
wrote the book. He wrote the book called Natural Cures, and then he
Yeah.
came back with
Oh
another
yeah.
book. You remember that guy? So like he did a cruise. This guy he has a segment called Your Wish is Your Command. And Jenny, everything you just said, that's what he taught.
Hmm.
So when they put him in prison, it didn't make sense. And people were saying the reason why they put him in prison, right? He's released now, he's out, is because he was exposing, right, what they call the hidden secrets that unlocked what she was
Mm.
manifesting. Remember I said
Mm.
they ostracize the people who go against the grain. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
people who, so when you was just speaking, he has a segment called My Mentor Went to the Cruise that he had with some of the world's wealthiest people, but it's called Your Wish is Your Command.
Speaking of the secret, Adept, are you there, bro?
I'm right here.
What is the secret, bro? You know, a few years ago, Oprah and a few of her friends they brought out, you know, what was probably
Yeah.
like maybe one of the 7, you know, Hermetic teachings, universal teachings. But what is the secret, man? What is the secret?
Are you referring to the book or the actual like secret?
Well, well, I mean, you can go either way with it. I'm leaving it up to you.
Well, the full secret is not in the book, The Secret. A lot of new thought movements give just enough information with either it's very half-assed information or based off of ignorance or purposeful intention to not give the full keys of manifestation of tapping into the energetic systems and frequencies. Um, they leave out a lot of key points, key elements for the masses. Some do teach legitimately, you know. Some do teach like a lot of the legitimate sciences behind it. But the thing is, how do I say this? Well, I broke it down last time. Again, you have the power, imagination. Imagination is going to be the biggest one because the power of visualization, first off, and the thought, which creates that electrical charge and impulse. But again, even in many others that they talk about, let's say Neville Goddard, that very good mystic who learned his knowledge from a Sufi. I forget the name of the guy, but
Well, here's the thing with the frequency stuff, right? Because this is like a new thing you keep hearing about online all the time. Like, raise your vibration, raise your
people, yeah,
frequency.
things become
In a way,
trends.
like you're lying to. It's like you have to lie to yourself to believe that your life doesn't suck and that you really are rich. You're not really poor and you're abundant. It's a fucking lie. That's why you can't accept that belief because it's not
Well, it's not.
true.
Because you don't know
It's
how
not a
to access
lie.
the subconscious mind. There's
Right.
certain
It's
methodologies to tap into the subconscious. That is the key. That's the biggest component. Is truly understanding
but it's not a lie.
the mechanics of the
It's
subconscious.
it's not a
Let me ask you
lie.
this,
It's
D-Man.
breaking
D-Man, let me ask you a
the
question.
conception.
D-Man, can I ask you a
Yeah, go
question,
ahead.
bro? Who are you? Loosely. You don't have to tell me anything too personal. Who are you?
I'm a man seeking truth.
Okay. That sounds solid. Now, here's the thing. What if I said, no, you're not? What do you do with that? If you tell me who you are and what you are, and I tell you that you're not that, what do you do about that?
But it doesn't matter what the outside influences say. I know.
So let me just say this to you.
Not.
I like it, D-Man. I like it. Check it out. Do you know who I am, D-Man?
Who are you?
I am all things. I have all the power that I need. I can have whatever I want when I want it, except for the lovely Jenny. Outside of Jenny, I can have everything I want. You understand me?
Good little fool.
That was smooth.
Good
You see
flirt
see
there.
what I
Good
did there?
flirt.
See how I did that? See how I
Good
did
flirt.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
that doesn't answer my
Kudos.
question. They say
Sure
raise
it
your
does.
vibration. Yes, I
Well,
can think positively, but in the end of the day, my rent is still due. I still have to go to that shitty job I hate.
No,
Then
and it,
you know when I was a kid, when I was a
encourage you
kid,
to try
D-Man,
it.
yeah,
Just try it.
I would definitely encourage you to try it. When I was a little kid, D-Man, around 12 years old, it was around the same time that I got an astronomical IQ test back from my junior high school. And, my mother would ask me what I wanted to be. I would always tell my mother from the time I was 12 that I wanted to be me and I wanted to be paid to be me. Now, this may sound fanciful to you, and it may sound like, well, yeah, that's a pipe dream. Like, no one gets paid to be them. But that's actually what's happening in my life, bro. It's been happening for the past 27 years. I've been paid to be me and nothing else. And that's the thing.
But
Like, that didn't come from any particular type of education. I actually don't have a degree. I have no degrees whatsoever, but I have 360 degrees. You see what I did there?
but let's also honor the fact that he said he is trying to learn. That
Yes.
is
I
an
think I
honorable
think
goal.
I think you got to slow it down a little bit, Opinion, when you said that.
I mean, I'm just telling my truth so that he can have at least
Yeah,
an
no, no.
example of someone that, knows
Right.
and walks in their truth. That's why I asked him who he
Oh,
was.
absolutely. Right, but he was honorable in what he said as far as he is a man looking for knowledge,
And I
which
love
is an
that.
honorable goal. That's an honorable
Yes.
goal. It really
And an
is.
infinite
But watch this.
journey.
The most important thing that he did was he didn't allow what Opinion said to change the narrative of what he thought about himself.
Facts.
That's the most
Facts.
important thing. See what I'm saying? He said, I'm not going to let outside influences dictate to me what I already know
That
about
was
myself.
strong.
And that's
That was strong.
that's what I saw. But
Yep.
that's the strongest point. Because that's the
Yeah.
thing about, that's when you got some form of control or a sense of control of where you want to go, and you have boundaries, and you're not just allowing anything. You truly have become the vanguard of your soul, right? So
Yeah.
I'm glad you said what you said. And you know, that type of challenging is important, because that lets a person know whether they're influential. Well, yeah, most people would have actually allowed that to
Yep.
enter into their subconscious, and then they would have been thinking about it even after we left the app.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
let me put.
So
Let me pose a word.
let me get this straight. Let me wrap my head around this. So you're saying stay positive, believe that I can achieve what it is that I want, even though day after day it's not happening, but still
Wait, but
keep
not only
that.
that, D-Man, walk in the light. Walk in the path for which you want to excel. Like, just don't think about it. Walk in it. So my axiom has been since I was a kid, I like to live in the center of the arena that I like to excel in, right? So go to the very center of the things that you want to do and stay there, hover there, frequent it. And before you know it, it becomes your address.
hmm
Can I
Embrace everything.
Yes.
The road that how you might get there. Just embrace it and be like, you know what, this is a weird twist and turn and what I thought it might be, but let me see what's coming up next. I'll give
What's
you an
the
example. So years ago, this was about 7, 8 years ago, I was working as like a sales manager for a company that I hated. I hated sales. I was like, I don't like this. I'd gotten a promotion, and I was sort of, I don't know, I wasn't even happy about the promotion because I was like, more money, more work, more quotas to meet. But I accepted the promotion. Then I was like, you know what, God, I don't know. I should let somebody else have this seat in sales. Someone else should be the sales manager because I don't really like it. So if you could just give me a sign, show me a door, some sort of door I can walk through to kind of get me out of this job and onto something better. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Well, about a week later, the company I was working for had gotten acquired by a larger company, layoffs across the board. I got demoted 2 levels down to basically, which was like a administrative assistant position in order to keep my job. But do you know where the administrative assistant's position was located?
Where's that?
Literally in front of a door. In front of a door, like to hall. My new desk faced a freaking door, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit too literal, but I asked for it. Let me see what happens. About 2 weeks later, someone from the larger company that acquired us walked through that door. We're chatting it up. I'm complaining about how I used to be a sales manager, and now I'm here, but I'm stuck and blah blah blah. And he said, "You don't seem like you're a salesperson. Do you like technology?" I was like, I do. That person offered me a job on the spot, making $45,000 more than what I made as a salesman.
Love it.
On
Love
the
it.
spot. And said,
It's that type
don't
of thing,
worry.
D-Man.
Yeah, you just got to be open to everything and just move with it. But trust that like everything is happening and unfolding as it should, and for your good.
Life
Yeah.
with it, yeah.
Yeah.
what's the old saying? Birds of a feather flock together.
That part.
Birds of a feather. And if you think about that's just an old saying. Now, opinion he packaged it in a very intellectual way of saying it, but in a simple terms, it's who you hang around determines where you go. You ever heard the old
Facts.
saying, show me the 5 people that are around you, right? And I'll
Show
you
me
where
your
you go in the
friends, I'll
future.
show you your future.
Show me your 5 people that's around you, and I'll show you your
Yeah.
future. And these are old
That's a thing.
principles. Like the secret is, and here's how I'll just say this: if you ever heard of Wallace D. Waldo, right, The Science of Getting Rich, this is what influenced the book The Secret. Or if you heard the book called Think and Grow Rich
Think
by
and Grow
Napoleon
Rich.
Hill.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
old. That's old. And Napoleon Hill, he learned it from Earl Nightingale. You see what I'm saying? These are old. Think your thoughts are things. So that's the concept
Yeah.
of The Secret is the law of
Your
attraction.
thoughts are things.
thoughts
Wait a
are
minute. I'm putting
things.
that on a
Yes.
t-shirt right now.
I got
And
That's
here
going
you
on a
can't
because
t-shirt.
things.
you can't. It's already done.
Oh, wow.
Gravity. Okay.
yeah.
Wait,
Your
hold
thoughts are
on.
Is that
things
what
is the
Bible
whole
says?
live. We just wrapped the whole live up.
Let me answer
Go
that
ahead,
real
Adele.
quick. So
You
again, the
can't,
concept, because since
you
thoughts
can't
are
trust your
things,
thoughts, though,
things are
man. Like
objects.
your
Then
thoughts are unreliable narrators, man.
No, just try it. Just try
No,
it,
D man,
please.
hold on.
they're
Just
Let
try
Adept
it.
go. Let Adept go, and then I'm coming right back to you, D man. Go ahead, Adept.
again, because and to build upon that concept of thoughts being things, a thing is an object, and objects have mass, and mass has gravity. Now, very minimal depending on the scale of the thing, but that's why when you charge and focus on the thought and you accumulate more energetic, I guess you could say, resonance, you concentrate that charge. This happens within that mental plane or the astral plane, but even though many probably don't want to believe in that, but whatever, to each their own. And so you accumulate more thought forms. Even Bob Proctor, as an example, breaks it down. He breaks it down in certain lectures as an example of how this actually works, like a whole science. He shows like a diagram, draws it all out on a chalkboard and everything. And that's just
Well,
like
let me
one
let me
little
add to that.
example
Let
of
me
it.
add to that real quick. So, for example, I'm just saying you're sitting in peace. Okay, let's call it daydreaming. Okay, your mind tends to gravitate to the fucking negative constantly. That's what I'm saying. I can't trust that.
No,
That is
And
you.
whose
I
That is
haven't.
mind?
that is your
Whose mind
mind.
is doing that?
That's your mind.
It
You haven't
gravitates
overcome that and
to the
rewired
exciting,
it.
not the negative, but it
It
gravitates to the
gravitate.
exciting.
It gravitates to what you're attracting. It's
Bong.
not about
Exciting.
exciting, bro. No, it's not exciting. Everybody, me and opinion, we don't attract negative thoughts on a consistent basis because that's not who we
No.
are. That's not how we
I didn't say
reset.
negative.
That's not how. What you said? What the exciting? The exciting.
Exciting.
We don't
The
attract
different,
exciting.
the change,
But he said
the
negative.
difference. Like
But you're not. You're not attract. But you're not attracting the exciting. You're attracting what's already inside you.
Yep.
Ooh.
And we all long for something exciting, right?
No.
Actually, I had a little thought right now, and it's gonna be a bit blunt, but it's coming from a genuine place. So, and I could be completely wrong, but Demon, because the way you're thinking, the way you're talking, expressing certain things. Now, I'm just looking at your profile pic with the clown and the suit and everything. Subconsciously, deep down, personally, is that how you think of yourself? Is that how you view yourself? Because that's
Oh
gonna be
no
a
no no.
key
That's
factor.
just my government shit.
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. Like I said, I could have been completely wrong, but I'm just trying to piece things together. I was looking at it and going based off of the way the conversation's going. I'm like, I wonder if that's something unconsciously, like a deep down in your psyche. That's how you're viewing yourself. That's why you put it there. And this is where a lot of the how do I say it? The self-fulfilling negative prophecies, because you think in that way, like you said, it always goes to the negative. It's always bad. It's always shit. I hate this. I hate that. So that's why I'm trying.
But you could have a great day. Let's say you're having a great day, and then someone bumps in front of you in the line or something. I normally would be like, okay, I should just let that go. But then my mind will go, like, how fucking dare you? How dare you butt in front of me? Fuck that
You
person.
realize,
Who do they
D
think
man, let me
they
ask you
are?
this, D
Are
man.
they racist?
D man,
They must
let
be
me ask you
racist.
this.
Like,
See,
That's
there you
hilarious.
go.
D man, let me ask you this real quick. Did they step on your toe when they bumped into you, or did they just brush by you?
did this brush by me maybe because they think I'm not in the line, so they went ahead of me, right? Instead of
Right.
asking.
Right. So check it out. Check out the degrees of the nature in which we're talking about. If your toe got stepped on, and let's say you had a bunion on your toe, yeah, that might cause you some pain, and for a moment you might have to deal with that. If they brush by you, that's a way lesser degree. You must use your discernment and or judgment in every moment, right? Which is all the moments, right? And deal with it accordingly. Like woosah yourself. Someone once said it's called woosah. Especially when we become adults. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll say this too, D man. Like for me personally, I've been in personal development and for years, right? Bob Proctor has been a mentor of my mentor for many years. But this is one thing I've learned, right? Life's not on life is what 10% what happens to you. And the other 90% is how we respond to it. But
How you
this is why
respond.
this is how we work.
Amen.
This is why self-development and working on yourself is critical. Because I came up in a very traumatic society. I'm a New Yorker. right? All I know is straight up 100%. I'm from Harlem, so I mean, I was around nothing but what you would
Harlem
think of.
World.
Yeah, all day, every day. It's just it's lit up. So you got to think a lot of certain things were entering into my subconscious. And to be honest with you, my dad was an angry dude. He was a military man. So that also transferred to me. So there was moments in my life where anger, when I went to the military, it
Mm-hmm.
just came out.
Mm-hmm.
So at around about my 20s, when I got around some guys, I learned about personal development when I was in Hawaii. Actually, it was my staff sergeant. He was the one that started telling me, listen, if you don't get a hang on that, it's going to actually mess up your career. So this is when he started to introduce me into self-development, start working on myself, really going deep inside and finding things that were really a liability to me and working on that. And it wasn't overnight, but it worked. So, because I can't listen in New York City, if you stepped on our sneakers, I'm just telling you,
Problematic.
Yeah.
problematic is an understatement.
Problematic.
I'm knocking you out right
Well,
there. Because you just declared
well,
war.
Cloud.
Now, guess what? I don't care because I got Walmart shoes on. I don't care.
That's
I don't
hilarious.
care about what you do. I'm not worried
That's
about that.
hilarious.
And I don't know why you did that because
Can
I'm thinking like that.
can
You
I
may have went the wrong way and then easily bumped against me. Hey man, it's my bad. No problem. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, go ahead, brother. I just wanted to put that out.
can I point out one thing real quick? He
Surely.
said the crucial word. He said the crucial word. He really did. He said you could be having an amazing day, but
Mm.
why did your amazing day stop at but? Because some
You know
little
what?
thing took your whole energy the wrong way. And it
Hey
might have been an
Lee,
accident.
Lee, I have a
What's that?
saying. But is where the shit starts. You guys are
All right,
welcome. You guys,
all
the
right,
world
all right,
has it now.
Yeah.
and like he said, you could be having an amazing day, but and when you give that but the credence and the power, yeah, the shit starts right there. You don't doubt.
Always.
You
Always.
need self
Anytime but
mastery.
comes into it, that's where the shit starts.
This is
Always.
self
That's where the shit
mastery,
starts.
and it comes to that's
You
why
Self
have
and
mastery.
yeah,
yes, it
because that's
does
why the most
because
famous ancient temples, the ancient mystery schools, one of the most famous, let's say in Greece, even though it goes much further to Egypt and all that other stuff, but in Greece, the temple of the Oracle of Delphi, it said, I forget in Greek, but basically it says know thyself. Or there's a further expansion on that quote. It says, man, know thyself, and thou shalt know the universe and the gods.
There it is.
mhm.
And so
Hey,
There it
okay,
is.
so let me test that bullshit now, okay?
oh bullshit.
So you're in Walmart, okay? Same scenario.
Oh,
Number one, you're
Someone
already wrong being in Walmart, but go on.
hold on.
why is he in Walmart?
Someone steps on your shoes and you're
Okay.
in your Wusa mode and you're like, excuse me, sir, you stepped on my shoes. And he's like, yeah, fuck you and fuck your shoes. Go fuck yourself. And he butts in front of
Why
you. Then what?
why
Then
would
what?
you
And he does
confront?
what? And he does what?
Like he just basically tells you go fuck yourself. He doesn't apologize or nothing. Then what do you
Okay,
But
do?
why
I
would
respect
you
throwing it
why
back.
Self mastery 1-on-1. Give me the lesson.
right? But why
Well, let
could
me
you not
look. Can I
just
start
take
here?
it
Can I start
and
here,
move
you
on?
guys? Can I start here, you guys? Here's the thing, and I mentioned it a couple minutes ago about living in the center of the arena in which you want to excel. Now, listen, I'm not telling anyone not to go to Target or Walmart or the case, but the truth of the matter is, I haven't shopped in a regular store in years. Well, and places like Walmart are notorious for the fuckery. I mean, there's so many Walmart instances online. It's like, why would you even want to go to that specific space? Because for whatever reason, it has a certain energy at times, right? So maybe you just order from Amazon Prime. Maybe you order your groceries from DoorDash. I don't know. Like, there's other ways to get around scenarios that you feel like could be detrimental to your mental, spiritual, dare I say, physical health. So there's ways to get
Well,
around. Go on.
you can, but interpersonal connection is still important. We need to get back to
That's for
that to a
sure.
degree.
That's for sure. That's
So,
true.
but
But if you're
why
finding
would
yourself
you?
in incidents at Walmart on a regular basis, maybe you need to stop going to Walmart.
Yeah.
Right. Or
Be
my
mindful
question
too.
also, yeah, my question would be, why would you even ask him why you stepped on my shoes? Maybe you could have just in your head said, that was an accident, it didn't mean anything, and continued along your way. If you confronted him, then he could be in a bad place. He could be having a shitty day at work. He could have a shitty life at home. He might be going through a divorce. We don't know what those souls are going through. So if it was an accident, he might respond back negatively. We as better beings could go, well, damn, idiot stepped on my shoe, and just walked away, took your cart, and or said, hey, I hope you're having a good day. If you want to be forceful about it, you could say, hey, I hope you're having a good day, sir. I just stepped on your shoe. Why aren't you pissed? I don't need to be.
Yeah. Listen, I drive an electric motorcycle in Los Angeles. Trust and believe, I'm frustrated a lot trying to get through traffic, but at the end of the day, once that thing turns green, I'm off the top of the line anyway. The cars are half a block behind me. Let me let Tree Hugger and then DZ Jared in. Tree Hugger, you there? Tree Hugger, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How's it going, man?
It's going well. Thanks for having me on the panel. Hello, everyone.
Of course, man. Of course, man. So what do you think about the question and the conversation?
The question on your background or the
Yeah.
well,
you can speak to both. You can speak to both.
Well, basically, yes, it is more literal. I'd probably look to is the Bible attempting to be more literal than what movies might portray, and I think the answer would be no. So yes, the sci-fi are more literal, but as far as this sort of woo-saw disposition,
Yeah.
and how we react to instances where we're confronted with negativity, it's a million infinite ways that we can react, but just choosing one path to kind of think of it from, whatever triggers us is just an opportunity to sort of not identify, as Lee mentioned. I think he said making meaning. So that's what we do as humans. We make meanings about everything. So if we can kind of properly sort of take a step back and look at what emotions, what thoughts, what feelings come up, and then from a more developed mindset or framework, mental framework, choose what we want. If we want peace, happiness, joy, bliss, then we can look at the challenge of that as a trigger, and we can embrace it and learn from it, because every interaction, everything that we experience, it's within us. The roots are within us. So it's us. So that's what experiencing life in reality really is about, to the fullness, to not reject, so to speak, but to embrace and appreciate and learn from.
Well, you know what? I appreciate your take on that, and that sounds like something I should implement in my life. Like, kind of step back, don't let my emotions take the driving seat, and really assess the situation and then react. Right? I get it. Like, take a breath and then realize that really that's really small. That's really a small thing in regards to like just the big picture, right? But what I find doing that all the time, it seems like you're just turning the other cheek. You're subscribing to this Bible bullshit, right? Where it's like, turn the other cheek and allow people to abuse you constantly just to maintain my peace. I feel like
you're not allowing abuse. Okay, like if someone steps on your shoe, is not abuse, but you have the right to defend yourself. It doesn't mean be a pacifist. When you're spiritual, one thing about the spiritual community, a lot of people get mixed up. They think to be spiritual means you're just a peaceful, harmless little just monk, like pure Zen, and the world will be chaos and destruction. People will be hurting you, and you don't give a damn. It's just love and light. Like, no. True spirituality is dark.
We don't
It's
give a
dark.
damn.
It's real, yeah. But it's like,
Actually, as far as
But it's
Turning the
like,
other cheek is interesting. I watched a video the other day of this preacher on a bus, and he was preaching on the bus, and this younger guy in his late 20s, jumped up and said, "You shut up, you shut up, you shut up." And the preacher wasn't saying anything bad or outlandish. And he literally slapped the preacher, and the preacher said, "Hit me on the other side." No,
Wow.
no, do it. Hit me on. And after about another minute and a half, this late 20-year-old man broke down into tears because his father just passed, and he just had to put him in the ground. And if it wasn't for the preacher saying, "Go ahead, if it makes you feel better, hit me on the other side," and this guy broke, and I mean, there was still a little bit of arguing, but he broke down and he confessed, and it's a beautiful video. You can see it on YouTube. I think it's "Turn the Other Cheek," or "Hit Me on the Other Cheek," but allowing people to vent like that sometimes and get it out is healthy, because sometimes we do need to take it on the other cheek too.
I just wanted to respond. I think it's about sort of updating and upgrading our overall framework of perceiving reality. Most of us are perceiving reality through a 5-year-old's lens of fight or flight and trauma response. So if we go back in our lives and see how our framework was built, we can actually upgrade that and see, oh, when my father came in and I had drawn him a picture and he smacked it on the ground and went yelling at my mom, that didn't mean that, this is how everyone is and I'm not lovable and I'm not good enough and I shouldn't be nice. That's just like some silly example. But overall, like if we're walking in Walmart and a 2-year-old or 3-year-old who just learned to walk steps on our foot and cuts in front of us, like how upset are we going to be? So it's about the vantage point that we're viewing reality and our fundamental framework
Yeah.
that will also impact what we're triggered by.
beautiful.
Yeah. I'll smoke a bag of that. Let me let Jared in. Jared, you there?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, man? What do you think about the conversation, bro?
I don't really see how this relates to the Bible. Are you guys more like leaning towards Christianity? Or are you guys not? Or
Well, no, it's not about
About
what we're
spirit.
doing. The conversation is individual to each and every one of us. What do you think in terms of whether the Bible is more literal or whether sci-fi is more literal in this space and time? It's up to you. What do you think?
yeah. Have you guys seen Alien Romulus?
Of course.
Yo, that movie is
No.
sick. And they have like a part where the girl. Never mind. You can't use TikTok language, but I think that that's more realistic than some of the stories in the Bible, as discussed.
Alien
Ah.
Romulus? Is
Yeah,
that a
Yeah.
continuation of the Alien series?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I've seen Prometheus, but I've never heard of Romulus. You said?
Yeah, it was pretty gross. It was nasty.
Okay, well I can live with that.
It's one of the latest aliens, I believe.
Okay, it would have to be because I've seen all of them,
Yeah.
except for never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
new
no,
one.
it's
I
pretty
didn't really
good.
care for the AI guy though. He wasn't like my favorite.
Oh, it's not the
Ironically.
original?
No, in Romulus.
Oh, in Romulus. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't really care for him. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of stories in the Bible, like at least for me, when I was growing up, like I've had people say, "Oh, well, we don't take this part of the Bible literally. Like it's more of a metaphor. It's more of a story. It's more of obviously like they don't say that about Jesus's resurrection or anything, but like the story of Jonah and the whale and like Noah's Ark and the rainbow. Some people don't actually even think the flood happened, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many of the stories we're actually supposed to take seriously, and then also there's so many different authors and so many different books. If God was actually trying to send a clear message, he would have made it so damn confusing.
Well, speaking of taking things literal or seriously, Jenny, can I ask you a question, Jenny? You there?
Sure. Yep. I'm still here.
Have you ever heard of this thing, parthenogenesis? Have you ever heard of that?
Parthenogenesis? No, I haven't.
Parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis is when you, as a lovely woman, can make a baby on your own.
Really?
Now, Mary
Oh yeah, I
experienced
can do that.
parthenogenesis because Mary in the Bible didn't, make a baby with Joseph. The baby came out of nowhere. So
Nope.
that was parthenogenesis.
Bro, you give me 2 Chipotle burritos, I can do that.
That's hilarious.
And very
Well, I
wrong.
mean,
And
it's
very
it's
wrong.
it's something to be said. I mean, there is that that blood that was taken from, oh gosh, who was it? Was it an archaeologist who found that? The blood that was taken from was it the tomb or the place where Jesus was crucified? And when they tested it for DNA, they were like, we're missing the whole other half.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure out why that was, and so many people are like, well, it's the blood, it's Jesus' blood. The other half is not even human. But so it just makes me wonder. I mean, that much we know is true. We've got the science, we've got the data, we've got the proof that there is actual blood that only has half human DNA.
It has no fraternal. There is maternal and fraternal. The maternal comes from the mother. The fraternal
Right.
comes from the father. And in that blood sample, there was no fraternal DNA.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And they're
Interesting.
like,
Now, in the Quran, it says, "He who is born to an honest mother." Now, being an honest mother back then didn't mean she didn't lie. Being an honest mother, the two words together, honest mother. What would be an honest mother? She got pregnant when she was a virgin. That's actually been proven in the Quran also, where they actually did do a test, and because the church would do those things, where actually her hymen was still in place,
right.
meaning she had not been penetrated.
Are you Muslim?
And no, I am Christian, ish. I
Ish.
believe the month. Ish. I don't subscribe to any trademark bullshit.
Okay.
Because I believe
Let me.
I believe that the symbol for Christ should be the Vesica Pisces and half Vesica Pisces, the symbol of the fish. And there's
Got
a
it.
lot of importance in sacred geometry there. But the Romans and then the Pharisees twisted the religion into a trademark religion, creating the cross, meaning, look at you bad humans, letting him die up there. And that's not
Interesting.
what he was about. I mean, a simple question: if your father was killed with a hammer, would you wear a hammer around your neck, or would you celebrate
Yeah,
his
that's
life?
true. Never thought about it that way.
Lee, you're gonna make a lot of Christians mad. Don't do that, Lee. A lot of folks walking around right now with hammers on their neck.
I know, right?
You guys ever watched the documentary Zeitgeist? They talk about
Of
how
course.
Jesus is actually the sun. It's really a solar deity.
Here we go.
We see in
I
early
see where
Old
you're
Testament,
going.
Jesus always has like the sun behind his head. It's crazy.
Well, D-Man, wait a minute, D-Man. If you're aware of Zeitgeist and you're aware of that understanding about where the Jesus figure comes from, and yes, the sun is always behind his head, for those of us who know and those of us that know what we're looking at, how then do you not know to have your mind in a space where you get everything you want? Like this is an oxymoron in spirituality, bro. What's going on?
Ooh.
I don't know. I meditate regularly. I'm not getting what I need through this positive
Do you
thing.
believe?
It's just, I've been doing it for years, man. I've tried fasting. I've tried it all, man.
Here's what he's asking. Are you believing it when you ask, or are you asking because you don't believe it?
No, I'm saying, okay, so let's say I start today. For the next 2 weeks, everything's great. Everything's going my way. And then I revert back to just like, this is pointless. You know, like,
what are you reverting
Or
back
you
for,
won't
bro?
You won't revert back. You won't revert back. You'll be like, this is it. This is my new normal. I get
Yes.
everything that I need. and I have
Yes.
everything that I want.
Why do you
There
have
is no
to?
You
reversion.
need to breathe. This is where you need to take a deep breath and stop your conscious mind from telling you those bad things. Because, as you even said earlier, one little thing and but, amazing day, but you need to take at that moment, you need to take a deep breath. Deep breath,
Listen,
hold it,
straight talk,
hold it, blow.
straight talk
He's
may put it
not
great.
wrong. He's not
D-Man,
wrong. You have to catch
D-Man,
yourself in
straight
the moment.
Yeah.
straight talk put it
Mm-hmm.
the best. He
Mm-hmm.
said, thoughts are things, man. Thoughts are
Yep.
things. So
Absolutely.
if you're thinking these things, man, you're creating, bro. You just got it. Thoughts are
Yep.
things. I love it. I don't care. I'm putting it
I'm
on
gonna
a
add to
t-shirt. I
that. I'm
promise
gonna
you.
add to that really quick. Here's one thing to dwell on. Life is like a mirror, or life is a mirror, but it's very fluidic. It doesn't give you what you want, it gives you who you are.
Ooh.
And what you need.
What is being reflected to you is what you are internally.
Mm-hmm. But it's like
Can I
if
tell
you
you
ask
guys
for
a weird?
courage, you don't get courage. You get things and events that create you to be courageous.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
that steps back to that karma bullshit, which I don't believe, because look at the elites. They've been ruling this shit for a long time. They're
Oh,
Karma,
Yeah, but
karma
they
just
get
means
they
action.
get their
yes.
karma. Yeah, they get their karma in another form. They get it. I mean,
They're
if there was one thing, they get their karma eventually, and it comes in a form that they don't typically expect.
Yeah, Demon. How
they
does that
will
affect you? Like
experience.
you're allowing that to affect you.
They will experience everything they caused everybody. That's their, and they know that they will.
Guys, let me let
But
JPF.
contracts up.
JPF, you there? JP, you there, bro? Or ma'am?
Yeah, I'm here.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. Welcome to Opinion Nation, man. What do you think about the topic?
Oh, I think it's great, and I also think they're both the same.
Huh. Speak a little bit more about that.
All right. So yeah, there's no difference in the two. The Bible's just as literal as sci-fi movies, just as regular movies, just as literal as a comedy. There's nothing that's not true in this world.
Interesting. So give me an example.
Oh, I like that.
Because like right now, at least in my world, there's a ton of examples of sci-fi being literal, right? But give me an example of something from the Bible being literal, if you can.
Something from the Bible being literal. The truth is a loving act.
The truth is a loving act.
To tell somebody the truth is to show somebody love.
Huh.
That's literal.
Well, can that be contextual though? Because if I tell you something that might end up hurting you, but it's the truth, is that love?
Yes, 100%.
Huh. That's interesting.
Wait, did you say there's nothing not true?
Yes, that's correct.
What do you mean by that?
There's nothing that can be said that isn't true.
Are you a pedophile?
Wow.
That's disgusting.
Watch the language, guys. Watch the language.
Are you a
No, while that's
That was rude.
disgusting, that is absolutely
Well, here,
disgusting.
no.
I don't know
Think
why
about
you would
this.
You're like, bro, it's true.
I like his aspect. Wait.
That's
I'm sorry. I'm
that's
sorry.
a
Is a
That's what you
cartoon?
said. Those are your words.
yeah. But
Is a cartoon true?
That was a strong critique. So yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
Is a cartoon
if
true
somebody were
though?
to make a positive claim against me that that would be a false claim.
So it'd be false. Yeah, correct.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, that was
I just thought it'd be funny.
random.
Sorry, JP.
What the
I'm not
hell?
actually like targeting you. I just
Yeah,
thought
and
that was kind of
I
a funny
didn't
statement.
mean like. All right, so you did make a valid point. You disproved my theory. Aside from that, aside from the vulgar and like the despicable and the repulsive,
Anyways, move along.
Sorry, I
aside
thought it was
from
funny.
those like evil atrocities,
Yeah.
if we're speaking like on the foundation of the prompt, is what I was kind of getting at, and I was very general in my statement, so I could have isolated it more to the prompt, and I should have to avoid that question, but I didn't. So that question was valid. But yeah, no, that's disgusting. So
So JP,
Within the
Yeah,
prompt.
so what
Within the
about
prompt.
what
Within the
about Noah's
prompt.
Ark? You know, like there are a lot of people that say
Yeah, there's evidence that that's proven.
mhm, finding seashells
But
on top of mountains now in that region where
Well,
they
they
think the
found
ark
the ark
rested.
itself. They found beams that were fastened together with iron rivets,
Mm.
and they
This
found
goes
a
back to the
huge.
Younger
Mhm.
Dryas event. The Younger
What's that?
Dryas event is the cataclysm that they talk about, because that's what Plato's even referring to. There's you get into world different ancient civilizations always talk about some kind of cataclysm and flood, a
All of them.
antediluvian flood, and because this gets into the whole story
Hmm.
of like Atlantis and all these other ancient civilizations, they're just
Hmm.
given different names. They're given different titles. The stories are like mythologized, but it's a blend of mytho-factual like history. It's kind of like if you watch a movie that's inspired by a true story, but not everything is literal in the movie itself. But so it's like a blend of it. So that's how scripture kind of works in a way. But it's far more than just that. There's levels to these things. It's like it has multiple dimensions of understanding in and of itself. Because these are
Right.
very sacred, Gnostic, Kabbalistic texts that were written in a very genius way. One, to keep the uninitiated extremely confused, but those who had the keys, the initiated, understand what it's really talking about. The whole scripture from
Yes, we
beginning
do.
to end.
guys, let me let Demetria in the conversation really quick. Demetria, are you there? Demetria.
I am here. I have nothing to add because I don't really know what y'all talking about.
Okay. Well, we're talking. We're talking about whether. Well, yeah, but the foundation is whether or not sci-fi movies are more literal than the Bible. What say you about that?
I feel. I mean, I have ideas. I have some ideas about the Bible and religion and all of that. But I don't give a shit about science. To start with my language, but I don't really care about science fiction movies like that. So I don't really.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Let me ask you it this way. I'll ask you: do you think that you might meet Jesus first or the Terminator first?
That's an interesting question.
Well, I saw that robot dog, so probably the
Uh-oh.
Terminator, right?
Yep, and then
You're talking about
shortly
DARPA.
after
Well, we meet
battle with the
Jesus all the
Terminator.
time. Jesus
Yeah.
is in the if the Bible is true, Jesus is the lowliest among us. So we meet Jesus all the time. We don't treat him like nothing, but we meet him all the time.
And he's always that
Now,
one person that's willing to help.
now is he
Amen,
is
bro.
he is Jesus just like in our
Amen.
spirit, or do we literally meet him?
Well, this takes me back to my whole ideas about religion and about the God within. I'm a very metaphysical type person, so my my understanding of the way I am coming to know religion versus spirituality and all of that, I feel like I just have some ideas that it's gonna take me too long to go into them right now, but this may not be my conversation to have.
Okay, I mean I
Well,
can respect that.
First Corinthians, verse 29 says, Jesus says that the temple of God is within you. Isn't that interesting? What does that mean?
Because these are Gnostic teachings. It is ye are the temple, the innermost, the true, your essence that makes you and everything in this creation of ours, every being, every animal, every plant, the force, the source of it all is the divine. It's just a source, a power, a consciousness, if you will, whatever you want to call it. But now
I just
we
listen.
are a temple for that power to manifest itself, as long as we are purified enough and how do I say, goes back to when I said, man, know thyself and thou shalt know the universe and the gods. Once you come to the true awakening, enlightenment, the gnosis, and you realize what your true self, your true identity really is, I'll let you figure that out for yourself. Then you'll understand what that passage really means.
Well, yeah,
That's
and
why I mess with a depth.
Christos.
That's why I mess with a depth right there.
Yeah, and temples
So maybe this is my conversation to have.
temples do house avatars. And so if the body is a temple of God,
Our
the skull is a
our
temple of
avatar
God's
temples.
kingdom, and your pineal gland is where God is.
It's
So
Yeah,
let's say the
yeah, I
Oh
like
second
it.
yeah, y'all
coming
on my
is not an
street. Y'all
actual
are just right
physical
on my
coming,
street.
but a coming
What are you saying,
in
Demetria? Go ahead, Demetria.
consciousness.
What are you saying?
I said they y'all on my street. Y'all on my street. I see you. I see you. Get off my
Oh yeah,
porch.
yeah.
You
We're
don't
in the
get away.
neighborhood. Yeah, yeah.
We in
We're
the
neighbors.
neighborhood. I see
Yeah.
you.
Hey, I'm inviting everybody to my mansion. Let's go.
Okay.
I
Go
wish
That's
I
get the
could.
hilarious. I'm
secret
gonna
on
leave that
that,
alone.
right?
I'm gonna leave
What's
that
up?
alone. No Diddy. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa.
After Diddy
I'm
don't
Hey,
messing
invite
around.
you
you know what?
nowhere, don't welcome
On
you
that Diddy
anywhere,
talk,
none of
I
that.
think that that's just all a bullshit scam. That's a distraction. What do you
It
guys think
is.
about that?
I feel like it's so
Ooh.
complex. And then the scary thing is, you know how they say, so there can be so much that's hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And that's the scary part about it. I'm like, what if all this talk about, you know, people eating others and baby farms and underground cities and underground warehouses, what if it's all true and we're just like,
It
nah,
is.
no, it can't
Oh no,
be.
that's been
It
true.
is
No, I
You
think
all
know?
true. It is
I
all
think
true.
that Diddy isn't the most powerful or even the lowliest person in a whole group of people.
I agree. I agree.
Oh yeah,
No,
that's
no.
because everybody
He's a
knows
puppet.
Diddy. So yeah, it's the trendy theme, I guess, or narrative to
Yep.
push out
I
while
just
they
want
do
to. I
everything
just
else.
want to say. I just want to say to
He's
your question. As far as your question goes, there's things literally hidden in everything you watch on TV.
Mm-hmm.
The best camouflage is no camouflage.
Well, even if we're
expose it
talking
in
about
plain sight.
movies, they do talk about adrenochrome
Like The
in
Simpsons.
movies.
The Simpsons is a perfect
Mm-hmm.
example. They have
Yep.
many
Monsters
predictions
Inc.
in their episodes.
Monsters
That actually
Inc.
happened.
The cartoon or the animation Monsters Inc. They scare kids to get what? The source, the power to feel Monsters Incorporated.
Right.
Come on, come on.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much going right over our heads. And if you read, say, like the Book of Revelations, we'll use that as an example. And my last reading of that, I was like, oh my gosh, is it true? All the old grannies, are they all right saying we're living in our last days? Are we really? Because it's like we'll be lovers of self. And then here we are talking about ourselves, taking pictures of ourselves, posting content of ourselves and what we're doing and where we're going. Just men and women posing, standing in the camera, documenting their whole lives. And then I forget the exact wording of the scripture, but it's like people will start to profit from their children.
It's like grandparents are the living version, and the Farmer's Almanac is the book version.
Yeah.
And there's another hidden Bible many don't know about. I have it myself. It's called
Are
the
you talking about
Cobra.
the Ethiopian Bible?
Nope. It's called the Cobran Bible. And so this is another very interesting text. But to keep it short, and I'll get to it in depth about it, that there's certain documents in there that are allegedly, again, we don't know for sure, but allegedly written by Jesus himself, you know, just like, you know, you had the Gnostic Gospels and all those other texts as well that's claimed to be the writings of Jesus according to the traditions. But either way, the point of the matter is, even within this text, within this Bible, and in these writings that are supposedly from Jesus, that it prophesies that there will be a time when men will be like women and women will be like men. The children will be taken over by the state and that by the government, like the houses would be divided amongst one another. And like literally everything going on. When I read that, I was like,
to me right now,
oh
my family have my kids taken.
So the Bible is literal. That
Yeah,
part
it's
of the
like the
Bible, at
Bible's
least.
literal at this point in time, in more ways than we want to fully.
Or maybe
Bible,
the people that have
every time the
rewritten
Bible
the Bible, how many times? It was just even the King James Bible was rewritten in the 40s, right? So maybe the people that control our media want us to go in this direction.
That's
and
what
they're
I.
guiding us.
That's what I said at the very beginning.
That is what he said at the
Just
beginning.
like the movie, the predictive programming. You know, they're leading us in this way because they have the power, they have the sources, the resources, and all the assets they need to bring certain societal events to come to fruition. And we're like, oh my God, it's happening, because so many people believe in these things at face value. So they're like, let's just like, you know, let's They believed it so much. Let's let it play out. Okay, let's destroy this temple as it says. Okay, now what's gonna follow in the next story? Oh, so this is gonna happen. All right, let's create this scene over here. You know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a spirited conversation once again. I love it. Like, when I tell you that I'm organizing the greatest thinking spiritualist gang the universe has ever known, I am. And that's what we are at Opinion Nation. I appreciate you all. Like D-Man, I am Lee, as usual, the adept. Lisa, thank you for coming through. Jenny, the superstar Jenny. I can't believe we got you on the panel today. I appreciate you. I mean
You
it.
guys always have such great conversations. You always have such a good.
Hey, and you always have a way of contributing the way we need contributions. I appreciate you. So JPF, thank you for coming through. And Demetria, I finally caught you too. Like you be on the run as well. And we finally got you on the panel today. So I appreciate your time. So I'm going to bounce for now. But anytime you guys see the green light lit up for the live for Opinion Nation, please come through. Yeah?
Of course.
Peace, bro.
All right.
Namaste.